This is the traditional Labor Day weekend game as Saskatchewan and Winnipeg renew their long-standing rivalry. Second place is at stake. They could break their record crowd of 30,477 at Taylor Field. They're packed onto the end zone grass, plus the Riders' all-time all-star squad is on hand. As Rider coach Jack Goda puts it, hey, this baby's got everything you could possibly ask for. CTV Sports presents, live from Taylor Field in Regina, the Saskatchewan Roughriders versus the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. This is a perfect day. You've got the normal Taylor Field breeze blowing, the hottest day of all August on the final day of the month for the game. Hello, everybody. I'm Bill Stevenson. You want football fever? You've got more football fever encased in this city and this province than any place, I am sure, in North America. It is wild here. You've got a game that Jack Goda says his Saskatchewan Roughriders have to win if we want to prove we belong in the top third of the league. We lose, he says we show we belong in the middle of the pack. You've got a Winnipeg Blue Bombers squad that needs to win to close the gap that the BC Lions have on them in the fight for first place in the West. You have a Bomber squad that started slow, but has picked up speed very quickly and will be tough to handle. And you also have upstairs Pat Marsden and Leif Pedersen.
Thank you, Bill. Hello again, everybody. Boy, it is fun to be in Taylor Field, Regina this Sunday afternoon because the excitement is wild. Leif, you've played in this game with the Jolly Green Giants. Tell us what the feeling is.
Well, it's an unbelievable feeling because you always get pumped up and look forward to that Labor Day Classic, and the rivalry that's been built up over the years between the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers is extremely intense. There's a guy who's intense.
But there's a guy, too, who brings some fun. I mean, Jack Goda is the happiest guy in the world. He's here in Regina. It's a football city. There's all kinds of excitement. He's stirring it up. Cal Murphy is delighted to be here because he knows that when you come to Regina, you're going to have a tough football game.
Well, you are, and you and I have been looking forward to this game for a number of weeks. And Cal Murphy and his guys are in tough because this crowd is so vocal, tough for the players to hear, and they're stirred up. It's been a long time since I've been in a city and seen this much emotion going throughout the townspeople.
And you know what's going to be fun, too? At halftime, we're going to see the 25 best players that have ever performed on behalf of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, names from the past that you're really going to enjoy. That's at halftime, and the kickoff is up next.
This CFL telecast is brought to you by Carling O'Keefe Sports, bringing the sports world home to you.
And join Mr. Tim Roth on our national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all our sons' command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, our true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
The referee for this game is Lorne Woods, and there you have his entire crew that will be working this important game. Pat, as we know, the fans are ready, and this city is ready, and this province. But I can tell you also that the players are obviously infused with the excitement of the contest and the importance of it as well, as everyone we have talked to has given us that full impression. So I'm sure you're going to have just a great game to call.
Well, thank you, Bill. I'm sure we are, too. As a matter of fact, they're sitting on the rooftops outside the park area. there has never, in my recollection, in the many years that I've been coming to Taylor Field, been more enthusiasm for a football game. The Saskatchewan Roughriders coming into this one have a 4-3 record. As you take a look at the receivers for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and there to return it will be Jerome Erdman or Glenn Steele. And this is Steele. That good contained by that Saskatchewan Roughrider cover team. Steele only manages to get to the 20 before Al Johns, number 77, was down quickly to make the stop. But I was saying that Saskatchewan comes into this ball game with a 4-3 record. Winnipeg is 5-2, so that's all you have to know about the importance of this contest. Tommy Clements will start for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, but many people know that he has had his problems early in the season. John Hufnagel is available if Tommy doesn't get it going quickly.
See James Hood making his start today in place of the injured James Murphy. He's no slouch. They don't lose anything there.
And so very quickly on the first pass of the ball game, it goes to Jeff Boyd, number 70. Eddie Ray Walker, number 2, was on him immediately and limited his gain to about 5 yards.
Well, that's a veteran offensive line that they have working for them in front of Tom Clements. John Bronk, been around a long time, and you know this whole offense of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers is scary. These guys can score any place in the field. 3 good ones there for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Gary Doolin having a fine year, so is Rick Moore.
Tell you a little story about Gary Doolin in just a moment as the Bombers with the 2nd and 5 put it up once again, and the hit on Joe Poplawski was made once again by Eddie Ray Walker. Now let's see where they spot the ball, because he was very close to the first down, and it is not surprising Joe Poplawski got it. It would be very surprising had he not gotten to the first down marker.
He really took a shot from Eddie Ray Walker there too as well, but Joe hung on to the football and got just enough to pick up a first down.
We were talking about Gary Doolin. He, by his own admission, wants out of Regina, but they gave him a terrific cheer when he came onto the field today.
I thought they were going to boo him today, but
Willard Reeves, with his first carry of the ball game, crosses the 35 to the 38-yard line, and Jerry Friesen, number 50, the inside linebacker, was first there to make the stop.
Pat, on Gary Doolin, it's interesting, of course, that George Brancato, when it was said that Doolin wanted out of town because he thought Regina was boring, said, well, if he doesn't start playing better, the only job we'll have for him is parking cars at Taylor Field.
The pickup by Reeves was about 7 yards, so make it 2nd and 3. And this is Reeves again. And he crosses the 40 to about the 41. The placement of the ball is going to be all important here, but he appears to have come up about 6 inches short.
Get ready, you guys.
Referee Lauren Wood says, no, let's take a look at this thing. So they're going to bring the sticks out. But, you know, we talk about the enthusiasm that the province of Saskatchewan has for football. This is an extra special day because, I mean, the great, great players of this franchise are here. People like Glenn Dobbs and, you know, the Lancasters and the Reeds. But it's going to be interesting to see who the fans have selected as the best 25 and who the head coach will be, too.
Well, you and I sure had a lot of fun last night at the dinner talking to all our old pals. And well, sure were a lot of guys there that I played with. And just fun to see all the faces and hear all the lies again.
So they do come up about 6 inches short. But the Bombers are going to go for it with the ball at their 42-yard line. Clements keeps it himself. He has the first down. There's no doubt about that. And so the Winnipeg drive will continue. Talking to Jack Goda yesterday for quite an extended period of time, he was concerned that maybe the guys would be so high emotionally that they might leave it all in the dressing room and come out on the field and really not have what he was hoping for. But they know they're in tough. They know that if they're going to improve their situation, this is one of the teams they've got to beat. So let's see what happens. It's first down, Winnipeg at their 43-yard line. Clemens' pass is caught by the newcomer James Hood, and Hood is dropped as he gets to midfield, but that'll be another Winnipeg first down. Billy Jackson, number 45, the linebacker on that side, made the stop.
James Hood did a good job there. The corners are really laying off the Winnipeg wide receivers early in the first quarter here. Bruce Miller gave him all kinds of room, and of course Tommy Clements, the veteran quarterback that he is, realizes that. Just throw those hitch passes out there and take what they give you until those corners decide they're going to come up and play that little tighter.
This is a nice looking drive. They've moved the ball 35 yards already as Willard Reed takes the handoff, but he didn't pick up very much on that occasion because Rick Moore, number 76, cut him down just as he got to the line of scrimmage.
I think when you talk about the Saskatchewan Roughrider defense, one of their strengths has to be that linebacking core. Number 42, Eddie Lowe, 45, Billy Jackson. A couple of real bright performers for the Riders this year.
You talk about leaving your game in the dressing room. I think Jack Goda is the only one that's in danger of doing that. He was saying when we were talking to him, hey, how come you can't get excited? He said, if you can't get excited about this, you can't get excited about any game.
Well, he's going to be excited right now because the Saskatchewan Roughriders jumped offside. There are flags all over the field. Rick Goltz was able to get to Tom Clements, but it'll go for naught. Offside Saskatchewan. So that's a big, big play because now, of course, it'll make it second down repeated, but only about 4 yards to go.
Offside. Saskatchewan 76. Second down repeated.
That was Rick Moore who made the play on the previous run by Willard Reeves. But what I was going to say, Leif, if Tommy Clements can play his kind of football game, the Bombers are going to score lots of points, and it's imperative that Homer Jordan play back to the game that he had in Edmonton.
Boy, that's for sure. He's got to come up with a good effort today, but Tommy's just picking them apart. Really a typical drive for him right here.
The pass is ruled incomplete. Willard Reeves was the intended receiver, but Tommy underthrew him, and so now that'll bring up a third down.
Well, that's what the good pressure will do for you. Here you see Tom Clements has to unload that ball just a little before he's ready to, and can't get it into Willard Reeves. He would have been well short of that first down had he made the reception, though.
And so it'll be Bob Cameron back with his first punt of this football game. 9 minutes and 50 seconds left to play in this opening quarter. It is scoreless at this point. As a matter of fact, the Roughriders have yet to touch the ball. Oh, that's a beauty. Nobody kicks better into the wind than Bob Cameron. Dan McDermott trying to get away. There is a flag down on the field. Frank Robinson, number 37, was there to make the tackle for Winnipeg, but we'll have to wait and see what that penalty marker is all about. Well, pretty good drive by Winnipeg. They kept the football 5.5 minutes.
Sure was. Boy, it's just a beautiful day out here in Regina, too. Sun shining brightly and temperatures nice and warm. All the ingredients for what we feel is just going to be a great, great football game.
Pat, can you remember the last time when they used to sit along the sidelines and the toughest part for visiting players was going into the sidelines among the fans?
Do you remember when they used to have the fence in the end zone, too?
Oh.
Garney Henley, remember? Yeah.
Right. But we were trying to figure out when was the last time the fans sat in the sidelines.
Illegal block. Saskatchewan 27. First and 10.
When you came here in the late 50s, they were doing it, weren't they?
Yes, as I recall, they were, Bill. The penalty was against the Saskatchewan Roughriders' Glenn Suter for an illegal block. And look where the Roughriders are starting, deep in their own territory at the 4-yard line. Against a swarming defense like Winnipeg, this is not the best place to begin. Jordan's pass brings it out to Ellis. And Ellis has an extremely important first down. Craig Ellis gets the Saskatchewan Roughriders off to the kind of start they had to have. Wiley Turner came up to make the tackle, but the pickup was 12 yards.
And it's a good call by Homer Jordan. A little rollout action so he gets away from that pressure initially and dump it off to Craig Ellis, who's once again having another fantastic year.
So they get a little breathing room out to about the 17-yard line. Jordan had absolutely no place to go. Frank Robinson was right in his face. He was rolling that way, and Robinson just came in, exerted the pressure, and Jordan went down.
Yeah, John Sturdivant, number 57, the big defensive end, will also get in on the action here. Homer slips down, and here comes John Sturdivant in on top as well, but that's the real feature of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, that pressure.
All the way back to the 9-yard line. So it's second down at about 18 to go. Flag is down. Jordan throws. The pass is complete to Michael Elarms, but we'll have to wait and see what that penalty marker is about. The Saskatchewan Roughriders do not have sufficient yardage for a first down right now, and they don't have to worry about getting a first down because the penalty is against them, a procedure call. Winnipeg is going to decline.
Procedure. Saskatchewan 81. Declined. Third down.
Well, the problem, of course, in that situation is that Ray Elgart likes to get that running start, and obviously he was too close to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, we've seen him do that a number of times this season. We did a game with Saskatchewan in Toronto, and I can't remember how many times, about 4 or 5 times he was offside getting that running start.
Elgart is going to be one of the great players in this league. First of all, he loves to play. Secondly, he can catch the football and has deceptive speed. This is Glenn Steele from his 49-yard line. Flag is down. Well, this little guy can really motor. He's inside the Saskatchewan 15-yard line. Finally brought down by Denny Ferdinand, but there is a penalty marker back about the Saskatchewan 46-yard line. And we'll find out what it's about when we come back. It is still scoreless with 7:39 left to play in the first quarter. Take a look at Glenn Steele. Really, this kid can fly. We saw him when he was a running back at UBC. He really was an outstanding runner at that time. He showed you his punt return abilities with that big return, but unfortunately for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, they were called for holding, and so they have possession on their side of midfield instead of inside the Saskatchewan 15. Clemens' pass is complete to James Hood. And Hood is forced out inside the Saskatchewan 45 by Bruce Miller, the cornerback number 4 on that side.
Well, once again, they're giving James Hood a lot of room on that outside, and it's a good play by Tom Clemens to recognize it, get the ball out to him, and that's an easy first down.
Pickup of 11 yards for Winnipeg. They have possession at the Saskatchewan 44-yard line. Goes to Willard Reeves. And Reeves puts his head down and slides inside the 40 to about the 38 before Darrell Toussaint, number 21, the former Calgary Stampeder, was there to make sure that he didn't go any further. Al Johns comes into the ball game on second down and about 3 yards to go.
Second down, 3 yards to go.
He takes out Jerry Friesen, the 4th linebacker, so they just want to beef up that defensive line, anticipating a rushing play by Winnipeg.
And here it comes, Willard Reeves. He zigged, he zagged, and he got inside the 35. The question is, did he get to the 34-yard line? Al Johns, who just came into the ball game, 77, was there to make the tackle. It's been a very controlled type of offense by the Blue Bombers. They haven't gone helter-skelter. They obviously have a good game plan that they're trying to implement, and they've had success with it.
Well, it appears as though Regina's very conscious of those wide receivers getting deep downfield, so giving them a lot of room, and Winnipeg taking advantage, mixing up that run. Well, geez, Willard Reeves runs hard when he needs those 3-4 yards. He just gets in behind that big offensive line of his, and
I'll tell you something else that Winnipeg is doing. They're keeping this crowd hushed because with Winnipeg controlling the football, the fans haven't gotten into the game yet, really. It is third down. Clemens keeps it himself. A marker is down. Now, did Saskatchewan hop offside? They did. So it's an automatic first down now. They'll move the ball inside the Saskatchewan 30-yard line. Jerry Friesen comes back out onto the field now. Cal Murphy. Cal looks relaxed, but he's relaxed only because his club is moving the football.
I think it's a toss-up between Joe Moss and Cal Murphy for who gets the most excited on the sideline.
No, I am going on record as saying Joe Moss does not survive this season. Joe is going to be a basket case. The new head coach of the Ottawa Roughriders is so intense. Winnipeg with a first down inside the Saskatchewan 29-yard line. Clemens pass again caught by James Hood. And again, the tackle is made by Bruce Miller, but Clements just doing the job that he loves to do. Just, I'll take what you're willing to give me, and they're willing to give him those 10, 11, 12-yard pickups.
Well, this just becomes a practice session for James Hood, and Tom Clements says nothing fancy about this. A little quick out, 8-yard out, and a catch, and pick up a couple more yards, and that's the easiest first down you're ever going to get.
That's 3 catches for James Hood for a total of 37 yards. And we haven't played 10 minutes yet of this football game.
You know, it's funny, Eddie Ray Walker, the other corner, has come across with this injury timeout here, and he's having a little chat with Bruce Miller, and I suspect he's saying, Bruce, you better get up there and play him a little tighter. This is far too easy.
That crowd that you're looking at, or where, folks, is all Winnipeg on that side. The Blue Bombers have had cars and caravans coming in from Manitoba for the past couple of days. The hotels are loaded with Winnipeg fans, and they are all up there in the Winnipeg blue, and many of them have got their shirts off, and they're painted in the colors of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Well, they've got to be happy right now because their Bombers are on the move. Clements pass is picked off. Tommy obviously did not see Darrell Toussaint, who was, he was just standing there, and the ball just happened to arrive right in his hands.
Now, Tommy seemed to really get mixed up there, looking for Jerome Erdman, and I can't believe he threw this ball into the kind of coverage that Saskatchewan was providing. No chance for Erdman to make the catch, and number 21, Darrell Toussaint, comes up with a big play.
So it's a scoreless ball game with 5:15 left to play in the first quarter. Dodge a bullet on the pass interception by Darrell Toussaint, his second of the season. Gives Saskatchewan possession at their 7-yard line with a first down. The last time they started inside their 5. Well, Jordan couldn't make up his mind what he wanted to do. And then finally it was 37, Frank Robinson, who will get credit for the sack. Actually, that sideline opened up pretty good for Jordan. He probably should have taken out.
Yeah, I think he should have, Pat, and thought he was actually quite fortunate to hang on to the football there. Frank Robinson looked like he was trying to strip it loose from him, but it really did open up there. They did an excellent job downfield covering his receivers, and this is one of the things that I thought might be an advantage for Homer Jordan today, his elusive running ability against this Winnipeg defense. I think he should have gone there.
Stan Mikowas was also in on that play. The loss was 3 yards. Jordan fires, and the pass is complete. And that is Christophe France out to the 14-yard line. He doesn't have a first down, but at least he gives the punter, Jerry McGrath, some room to operate with.
Winnipeg does just an outstanding job to keep him in the pocket. Do not let Homer Jordan get to the outside, and finally he's able to find Christophe France and pick up some yardage. Not a first down, but at least they get it away from their goal line.
So it'll bring up a...
We are experiencing technical difficulties.
See if they kick it
Please
away
stand
from
by.
them now. Oh, that's a beauty by McGrath. Steele is back to his 44-yard line. But again, he gets to the outside. And he's forced out of bounds at the 50-yard line by Denny Ferdinand. So Winnipeg will have the football when we come back with 3:43 left to play in a scoreless first quarter. The ball most of the quarter, but also the fact that Glenn Steele is showing you a little bit of the kind of speed and ability that he has as he returned that 52-yard punt by Jerry McGrath, 17 yards. But what I was about to say, Leaf, is Winnipeg has controlled the football, and every time Saskatchewan has had possession, it's been inside their 10-yard line.
They've done an excellent job, and you know, Winnipeg traditionally has always been good on those punt returns and kickoff returns. They really work hard at it, and you can see the results of this here in the first quarter.
Well, Winnipeg has had the football for 7 minutes, 49 seconds. Saskatchewan only 3 minutes and 28 seconds. Coming pass, knocked away. Eddie Ray Walker was there to bat the ball away as Jeff Boyd, the intended receiver, thought he might have 6.
Well, Tommy going for the home run, and Jeff Boyd actually does a good job to react back and over the top of Eddie Ray Walker, but Eddie Ray Walker right on his hip. Perfect coverage.
They were slightly concerned about Eddie Ray Walker, the graduate of the University of Mississippi, because they felt that he might be the weak spot. Tom Clements also must feel that way because that's the first deep pass that he's thrown, and he went to Walker's side. Flags are down as the pass intended for Boyd was thrown behind him.
Fran McDermott was coming on a safety blitz. He was one of the guys I know that was offside, but
it looked like Rick Moore, too, and there might be an excuse for Rick, number 76, former Argo, and after he went down south, came back up to Saskatchewan. Rick became a father last night, fellas, a baby boy about 2:30. He was in the delivery room, and he didn't get home till about 3:30, so he hasn't had too much sleep.
Saskatchewan 76. Second down repeat.
Well, it was Rick Moore, so congratulations to Rick and his wife Sally on the birth of the little bouncing baby boy.
And that is their first child, so the first new member to the family.
The 5 yards moves the football inside the Saskatchewan 45. Well, Clements is set. Gary Doolin was there to bring him down back at the 50-yard line. Well, Gary Doolin may not like living in Regina, but he doesn't mind playing for them because he's had some big ball games.
well, Darrell Toussaint just did a great job covering Joe Poplawski. That's who Tom Clements wanted to throw to, and when you don't get that ball off, the pressure catches up to you. Gary Doolin, who I think they like here today. I'm not quite sure. You know, that's a funny story that he keeps saying in the papers he doesn't want to be here, but he's sure playing well.
Bob Cameron's punt will be handled by Fran McDermott, who wanted it to bounce into the end zone, and it does, and he will concede the single point. That's a pretty good move by Saskatchewan because they have had 0 field position this entire first quarter.
Well, that's a definite coaching decision by Jack Goda. He signaled Fran McDermott before he went to catch that punt that if it gets close, let it go and finally give Homer Jordan some breathing room.
In talking to a lot of the ball players, they love the attitude that is now around this Saskatchewan club. They like the experience that Jack Goda, that George Brancato, and that Jerry Keeling bring to the coaching staff. We got a couple of young coaches in there as well. They just think that the whole thing is run professionally. And let's give some credit to Bill Quinter, too, the new general manager of Saskatchewan, who's very responsible for BC's success as well, because he's their personnel director for years. Jordan's pass is back. Benny Ferdinand coughs up the football. It's loose again, and now Winnipeg has recovered it.
What an awful break for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They put together a perfect play, and Benny Ferdinand coughs up the football, and once again, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are going to be in great field position. Let's have a look. They really set up the screen well. Neil Quilter, number 65, out in front, and gets some good blocks, and Ferdinand cuts it back. He just coughs it up himself. No reason for that. Scott Flago has a shot at it, but I don't think he was the final one to pick it up. But nevertheless, when you're playing a tough team like Winnipeg, you can't beat yourself, and that's a tough break.
Well, Scott had it momentarily, and then it was punched out of his hands. But regardless, Winnipeg has possession at the Saskatchewan 50, and now Willard Reeves inside the 45 before Fran McDermott grabbed him right by the ankles and limited his gain to about 7 yards, but it looked as though Reeves might be able to slash off about 15 or 20. A minute and 12 seconds left to play in the opening quarter that has been completely dominated by Winnipeg, yet they only lead it 1-0.
You know, Willard coming into the game already over the 600-yard mark, well on his way to another 1,000-yard rushing season.
This is Willard Reeves again. But again, that Saskatchewan defense plays it tough. Rick Moore, number 76, there to bring him down.
But you know, when they get in other teams' territory and you get 2nd and 4, you're almost in 2 down, 3 down. You're playing 3-down football now with the kind of running game they have.
Well, they're a half a yard short of the first down. But they're going to gamble for it as they have all of this first quarter. Tommy Clements has picked up both first downs on short yardage situations.
Cal Murphy's kind of a gambling coach, though, Pat. He enjoys this, and I think it makes for very interesting, exciting football.
Oh, I agree with you, Bill. This is Cal's 120th pro game. This time they did not try the quarterback sneak. They gave it to Willard Reeves. The Saskatchewan fans don't think that he made it. They think Billy Jackson stopped him.
Well, I think he did, too. There's no way No way they made it.
No.
Great
The
serve.
ball is right on the 40-yard line. They had to get to the 39.5.
Well, Rick Moore jammed it up initially, and Billy Jackson did make the play. And boy, after you cough up the football, to have your defense come back and stop a team like Winnipeg on a third down gamble, this should really give them a lift.
You know, these Labor Day games, Winnipeg and Saskatchewan, go back 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and every one seems to be a classic. For instance, last year, Saskatchewan defeated Winnipeg when the Bombers were on their way to the Grey Cup, and Saskatchewan was going nowhere. So the rivalry is just so intense and so exciting as well. Jordan's pass was very nearly picked off by Scott Flagel.
Oh, and had he made the catch, he would have been into the end zone. He read the play perfectly. They were trying to hit Chris DeFrance quickly down the middle, and Scott Flagel, who has really blossomed into an outstanding middle safety, came up with a good play.
They haven't used Chris DeFrance much this year. That's been one of the complaints amongst fans around Regina, that they have not been getting to him. They feel that he should be used a lot more, and maybe that is part of the game plan. And the unusual thing about Chris DeFrance, too, is he is the only active member of the Saskatchewan Roughriders picked on their all Roughrider team. I think that's quite a compliment.
Well, it certainly is. One of the reasons he hasn't been seeing much of the ball, though, is because Ray Algart's having such a great year. Jordan runs it himself, crosses the 45, gets to the 48. He's going to be short of the first down by a couple of yards. Ken Haley, number 24, was there to bring him down. And that was the final play of the opening quarter, with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers out in front of the Saskatchewan Roughriders 1-0. We'll return with the second quarter in a moment. Pack Taylor Field in Regina. Winnipeg out in front of the Saskatchewan Roughriders 1-0 as Jerry McGrath punts. And this will be Glenn Steele at his 18-yard line. Well, this little guy is really having himself some kind of an afternoon, although he was upended at the final moment by Mike Anderson, number 66, as he crossed the 25 and
Billy, he certainly ruined my score.
Let me tell you, Leaf and Pat, if that ball gets up high enough that they're looking at the sun, it's going to be impossible to grab it. Extremely bright right now.
Well, let's take a look at that Chevrolet first quarter statistical story. 75 to 45 net yards. A statistic that is not up there is this one. Winnipeg had the football almost 11 minutes. Saskatchewan just 4. So it is first down. Winnipeg from their 28-yard line. Clemens' pass is caught by Sean Keogh, number 39. And Keogh picks up a first down before Fran McDermott finally forces him out.
That's really good execution on the offense's part, because they fake that trap play to Willard Reeves that freezes the linebackers just enough so Sean Keogh can sneak out of that backfield and make the play, and pretty easy first down.
University of Alberta graduate Sean Keogh, who rotates really with Pat Cantner, although Keogh is the starter.
A great Grey Cup game last year, Canadian player of the game.
Clemens' pass was intended for James Hood, but he couldn't hang on because of the good hit by Darrell Toussaint, number 21.
Well, that's just good reaction to the football. Saskatchewan sitting back in his own coverage, and Tommy read it perfectly. So did James Hood. He comes back and works himself into the open area. But Darrell Toussaint drops off and watches. He'll come across and scrape across the top and make a super play.
So make it 2nd and 10. Winnipeg, the ball at their 44-yard line. Clemens' pass was very nearly picked off by Eddie Lowe, who made a diving attempt. It looked like they were trying to set up the screen. Were they, Leaf? But yes. I didn't see any receiver there.
Well, Willard Reeves, number 38, was there, but the play just never got on track because Saskatchewan read it perfectly, and they're really doing a good job on defense and getting a nice hand from the crowd as they come off.
Well, the old football atmosphere is back in Saskatchewan. There's no question about that.
Well, I had a lot of fun seeing some of my old friends last night. Rhett Dawson was here, and Roger Goree.
Rhett looks like he could play. I mean, he's slim, trim.
Well, he's living down in Austin, Texas. He's a land developer, very successful, and doing very well.
Fran McDermott from his 24-yard line had no place to go. So he just buries himself at that point, and that's where the Roughriders will take over. Joe Paopao should be ready to play for Saskatchewan next week. They were contemplating dressing him, but in speaking with Jack Cota before the ball game this afternoon, he told me he has no hesitation in inserting Harold Smith, who was a quarterback that was originally signed by the Edmonton Eskimos. Jack says he likes his 3 quarterbacks, and that's why he doesn't have any of them on his neg list. And that's Joe Paopao chatting things up, his head coach right now, suggesting things that might work. Jordan goes down in the grass, but Tony Norman, number 55, back at his 15-yard line. Good coverage by the secondary because he could not find anybody open.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, Pat. He had lots of time. The offensive line did a good job. That's enough time to get the football off. Anything after that, now you got to run for your life. And Tony Norman comes up with a sack, and once again, the Roughriders have found themselves deep in their own territory.
That's the 3rd sack of the ball game for that Winnipeg defense. The loss was 9 yards, so make it 2nd and 19.
In all 6 years, Tony Norman has played well for the Bombers.
He surely has. Jordan's pass goes over the hands of the intended receiver, Ray Elgard. Gary Moten, the newcomer from Southern Methodist, playing at that linebacking spot, number 69, was on the coverage.
Well, you get in those long yardage situations, 2nd and 20 against a defense that is as good as Winnipeg. It almost becomes impossible to try and pick up that first down. You just have to take your lumps and kick the ball away.
I'll tell you something, though. They can't keep giving away field condition like this, Leaf, and not have it cost them sooner or later with this high-powered offense of the Bombers.
Oh, no, I agree with you, Bill. They've given Winnipeg a lot of opportunities here in this first half.
So Jerry McGrath stands inside his 5-yard line to get this one away. Again, it's a good high punt. Steele is looking right up into the sunlight. But look at him dodge and fight his way inside the 45 to about the 44-yard line. So with 11.5 minutes left to play in the first half, Winnipeg continues to lead it by 1-0. Saskatchewan Roughriders are still very much in this ball game, although they haven't been able to move the ball. But defensively, although Winnipeg has moved up and down the field, they haven't put it in the end zone either.
Well, we saw a couple of good defenses last Friday night in Ottawa with the BC Lions pulling out that victory over the Ottawa Roughriders, but both defenses on those teams just had a great night.
But, you know, as Jack Cota said and Bill Stevenson reported earlier, this is a game that Saskatchewan is going to find out if they're in the top echelon of the CFL. Because if they can beat Winnipeg, they know they're in good shape. This is James Hood, and Hood is upended on a fine play by Bruce Miller.
John Bonk gave him a pretty good hit, too. Nick Volpe, our isolation director, was taking a good close look at James Hood, and watch as he turns upfield. Bruce Miller makes a great play, but John Bonk gets in and drills him as well. John, hit the guys with the green jerseys.
Speaking of having great years, our isolation director, Nick Volpe, he's had a Hall of Fame year.
Sure has.
Take the draw to Willard Reed. Clemens gets it away. It was over the outstretched hands of Jerome Erdman. But Clemens, I think, will be content that he wasn't sacked.
Well, he sure was. Saskatchewan deciding that they've really got to try and put the heat on Tommy, and Jeff Roberts was in there. Number 21, Darrell Toussaint, coming on the safety blitz, also gets in. He's the first guy that Tommy gets away from, but there's no substitute when you can put that pressure on the quarterback.
Are my eyes going, or has the sun just flipped in behind the cloud?
The sun just went behind a cloud. And I'll tell you, on the Winnipeg bench, they're happy because the sun is just beaming right into their eyes. Very difficult to see and very, very warm.
Trevor Kennard is going to try a 51-yard field goal. And it hits the upright. Well, things are going right for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They'll have possession at their 25-yard line when we come back. It is still Winnipeg 1, Saskatchewan nothing. We'll return in a moment.
He made one from 65 yards. Trevor, who's only 5'5", but has that tremendous strength in his legs, figures this is the best park in Canada to kick in. He said that in 81, he kicked one 55 yards. That's his longest. And the records, Paul Watson of Saskatchewan had a 59-yarder, and Cutler also kicked his record 59-yarder here. So we may see a record hitting kick before this game over.
Well, this is Denny Ferdinand, the ball carrier, crossing the 25 to about the 28 before he runs into Gary Moten, number 69. So his pickup will be about 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7.
Well, Ferdinand had some nice runs in their big win over Edmonton last week.
Well, they're happy to have him, and of course he's an experienced Canadian back. Started his career with Montreal, went to Winnipeg, and then acquired by Saskatchewan this season. Here comes Frank Robinson, and he gets to the Saskatchewan quarterback at the 20-yard line.
Well, that's just sheer speed, because when you roll out, you cannot block the linebacker coming from the backside. You just turn him loose, and it just shows you the outstanding speed of Frank Robinson. He was able to run down Homer Jordan from behind.
Well, he has 2 sacks in this ball game, 5 for the season, and Frank Robinson is certainly going to have to get an awful lot of consideration for a Carling O'Keefe defensive game star.
Watch the job that number 55, Tony Norman, does. That really is the key to the play, is he makes sure Homer Jordan just can't get outside any farther.
So Jerry McGrath is punting again. And another good boot. Steele from his 49-yard line. And he gets into Saskatchewan territory at about the 53. Scott Rettle, number 69, was there to make the tackle for Saskatchewan. And as everybody on the telecast has said today, you cannot keep giving Winnipeg possession in your end of the field and not expect them to score some points. Should the CFL eliminate the awarding of a single point except on converts? I was surprised at this. 58% of our callers said yes. 42 said no. Should the CFL increase the number of team timeouts allowed in the last 3 minutes of each half? You're entitled to 1 right now. You think it should be more? Clemens' pass is caught by Willard Reeves, and Reeves is down to the 40-yard line. He'll have a first down before Eddie Lowe was there to upend him, number 42. Reeves on that play is simply a release valve for Tom Clements if he can't find anybody downfield.
Well, he just sits himself out on the sidelines, and when Tommy Clements got in trouble, threw it out to him. He makes a great catch there to catch it and then duck in around and elude the tackle of Fran McDermott.
And pick up 12 yards. Winnipeg first down just outside the Saskatchewan 40. It's the draw to Reeves, and he runs right into Al Johns, number 70. Jeff Roberts, 71. Roberts making his return to the lineup after being injured all of the first part of the season.
Yeah, he played well last year, too, and one of the real bright spots on defense for the 1984 version of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and he's back his first game, and they sure are glad to have him. There's Laurie Skolrud, number 68, 12 years in the league. My first roommate when he and I came up as rookies with Saskatchewan in 1974.
He was big enough to take care of you.
Oh, he used to beat me up.
Clements is going deep, but this one is picked off by Bruce Miller. And Miller gives Saskatchewan possession, and again, the big defensive plays are going Saskatchewan's way this afternoon. Third turnover by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in this first half.
Yeah, a little miscommunication between quarterback and receiver, and Bruce Miller gets the easy interception, but that's just as good as a punt.
7:32 left to play in the half. Winnipeg still leads it 1-0. We'll be back in a moment. Up, let's have a good time at the old ball yard, and they are having that today. The Saskatchewan Roughrider offense wishes that it could start from someplace other than inside its 10-yard line.
You know, we're talking about some great people out in this city, and it's a great place for me to start my career and play. I just had 4 great years out here. Fans really good to the ball players.
Jordan on
That's
the
a
draw.
safety.
Now, it depends. Now, they say that he got to the goal area.
I want to see that again.
Frank
I don't think he got
Robinson
it.
was there to grab Craig Ellis the moment that he got the football. They rule that he got outside the goal area, so it will not be a 2-pointer for Winnipeg.
Well, let's have a look. He went out, went back in, and I think that's a safety. Let's have one more look at it.
Well, it was
Tough call to
certainly
make,
close
though.
enough.
Yeah, tough call to make.
There's not going to be any doubt about this one if they don't get it out, but they do. just outside the goal area. Again, it was Craig Ellis. And again, Gary Moten, who's playing very well, number 69, the inside linebacker for Winnipeg, was there to make the tackle.
You know, the interesting thing about Craig Ellis, gentlemen, is the fact that he started with Edmonton, and boy, that organization sure brings in some good ones. They brought in Reeves, too, before he went to Winnipeg. But anyway, Craig went down to Calgary. Jack Goda was the head coach. He cut Craig Ellis because he said the guy fumbles the ball all the time. Now he comes here, he's the head coach of Craig Ellis, and he can't say enough about him. He thinks he's terrific, but he thinks his strength is a receiver, not running back.
Well, that's one of the reasons why they were so happy to get Denny Ferdinand, and when they need to run the ball, he's the guy they want to do it.
McGrath's punt is not too deep this time. Steele takes it at the 35, but is dropped right at that point by number 45, Billy Jackson. But again, Winnipeg starts in Saskatchewan's end of the field.
You're right. This crowd is very quiet. What we need, as you have pointed out, is a few points for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, a little offense, and this place will go wild. Right now, it's just sitting here like a time bomb waiting to explode.
Well, don't forget that tomorrow we'll have another great rivalry. Edmonton plays in Calgary, and our CTV Western crew is standing by, ready to bring you that one. Tomorrow night in Hamilton, the Montreal Concords are the visitors. Willard Reeves is smacked a yard back of the line of scrimmage. Jeff Roberts, number 71, making his return to the lineup, and it's an impressive one.
Well, we're going to get a really good look at Jeff Roberts here. Willard Reeves just barely gets his hands on the football before he's met, and that is a bone-jarring tackle. Watch Jeff Roberts stop your screen, slash down, and they just flat out missed the block.
So make it second down and 11 yards to go for Winnipeg at the Saskatchewan 37. Clements had to get rid of it in a hurry. Joe Poplawski makes a good cut, and he'll have a first down to the 21-yard line. Well, Joe Poplawski did that one on his own. Jerry Friesen, number 50, the inside linebacker, was there to bring him down, but it was Joe Pop himself who did that.
Yeah, they read it perfectly. Darrell Toussaint coming on the safety blitz, and when that happens, the middle safety, Glenn Suter, has to go a long way to pick up the inside receiver, Joe Poplawski, and that's good execution on the offense.
15-yard pickup to the Saskatchewan 21-yard line. Clemens' pass is caught by James Hood, and Hood is forced out at about the 13-yard line by Bruce Miller, number 4, the cornerback on that side. Miller, a rookie from southern Mississippi, has been active today. Jack Goda and his staff on the sidelines wondering if they could dodge one more bullet. Because, man, oh man, for the field position that Winnipeg has enjoyed this entire first half, it's hard to believe they only lead at 1-0. Tommy Clements has been good on 10 of 17 passes for 100 yards, but he's had 2 picked off. Willard Reeves. And Reeves does not get the first down. Rick Moore, number 76, the defensive end on the right side, was there to make the stop.
I think, Pat, it was really number 45, Billy Jackson, who came in so quickly and forced the play back inside where he knew he was going to get some help, and then Rick Moore did a great job to plug it up.
And so it's third down, 3 yards to go, and we are going to see Trevor Kennard. Willard Reeves has carried the ball 11 times already this afternoon. He's only picked up 32 yards, which shows you how tough that Saskatchewan defense is playing. Field goal try will come from the 21-yard line. And it is good. And so, with 3 minutes and 51 seconds left to play in the first half, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who have completely dominated, are only in front 4-0.
Pat, Cal Murphy was incensed. He thought that there should have been an offside against Saskatchewan. Did you think so?
Well, there was movement, no question about it, by Gary Doolin, but obviously the officials felt that he got back.
Well, there's a little buzz of excitement because all the all-time Roughriders are making their way down the stands and onto the field, and we're going to show them to you at halftime. It's going to be a great show, but I'll tell you what, brings back a lot of memories for me. I see Bill Baker walking down onto the field. He could probably go out and play, too.
Homer Jordan unloads the ball to Craig Ellis. And Ellis is over the 45 to about the 47. He will have a first down. Stan Mikowicz, the nose guard, number 75, was there to make the tackle.
Leaf, when you say Baker could probably play too, are you indicating you could?
No.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant you probably could as well.
We said Red Dawson could earlier, Roger Goree and some of those guys.
I noticed you getting the fever in your eyes, though. You were ready to suit up.
That's usually late at night or something.
Well, come to think of it, it was.
It's only the third first down for Saskatchewan, but they have possession now at their 47, and that's their best field possession of this football game. Again, they throw it down the middle, and Denny Ferdinand makes the reception, but then is smacked right away by Frank Robinson over the 50 at about the 52-yard line, so he'll have a pickup of 5. It is Winnipeg 4, Saskatchewan nothing. We'll be back in just a moment.
Noble. Check television sales.
A lot of the clients I'm dealing with are using television for the first time, and it's part of my job to make them feel comfortable with the medium. Probably the most exciting part of this business is when a client is just so happy with the results, and we get that all the time.
Jan Noble. Check television sales. Helping people communicate.
You know, we've talked about the importance of this ball game. Winnipeg does not want to fall any further back of the BC Lions, who are currently 4 points ahead of them. A Winnipeg victory, and the Bombers are back to within 2 for first place. But Saskatchewan knows how important this is, too, because they want to stay ahead of Edmonton and Calgary, to at least make sure that they make the playoffs for the first time in 9 years. Jordan's pass goes incomplete. They were all over him the moment that he took the pass from center. Scott Flagel on a safety blitz was right in his face, and Jordan had no chance.
You know, you alluded to something very important earlier, Pat, and that is that Joe Pow is not in there for Saskatchewan, and he is the #1 quarterback. You take any team in this league and you put their #1 out, and they have got problems, and those are the problems offensively being shown by the Saskatchewan Roughriders, despite the fact they got a pretty good offensive show in their last game.
You know what happens too, Bill, is you just lose that experience factor. On that last play, for example, sometimes the quarterback can just sense that safety blitz coming and take advantage and hit a receiver quickly. But Homer Jordan's a young guy and probably hasn't seen it that much.
Ken Steele didn't have much of an opening, but it was enough for him to get out to the 30-yard line before Ken Moore, number 74, was down to make the tackle for Saskatchewan. So we've got 2 minutes and 24 seconds left to play in the first half. The Bombers are out in front 4-0. A lot of souvenir snapshots taken here this afternoon on what we believe will be the largest crowd in Saskatchewan football history. At halftime tonight, we'll show you what's gone on in the CFL so far this week, and we'll take a look at the Saskatchewan Roughriders all-time All-Stars. Pass is complete to Hood. Hood is forced out as he gets to about the 42-yard line, and that'll be enough for a first down. Billy Jackson, number 45, the linebacker, was there to force him out.
Well, I should like the way he just put his head down and took on Bruce Miller to get that extra yards and pick up the first down. Boy, they sure don't lose anything when they put a guy like James Hood in. James Murphy, of course, out of the lineup, but he shows you the depth that Paul Lapson and Cal Murphy have been able to put together in that Bomber club.
6 pass receptions for Hood so far this afternoon. As Clemens has it picked off by Bruce Miller once again. And Miller just fights his way for every inch that he can get, and he gets to the Winnipeg 47-yard line.
Oh, that's just an outstanding play by Bruce Miller. Second interception of the game, and he just anticipated it perfectly. And he's got this crowd stirred up here. They've still got over 2 minutes remaining in the first half, and finally some great field position with which to work. Watch it. Miller high in the air, reads the play perfectly. He was trying to feather it into Joe Poplawski, and that's just a great defensive play.
Now Saskatchewan with possession in Winnipeg territory for the first time in the ball game, starting from the Blue Bomber 47-yard line. Jordan pass is over the head of the intended receiver Ray Elgart, with Ken Haley, 24, there to break it up. Following tonight's game, the Carling O'Keefe Sports Game Stars will receive a Royal Canadian Mint 1-ounce gold coin presented by Kodak, makers of the new 8mm Kodavision video systems featuring the portable all-in-one camera and recorder from Kodak. Second down, 10 yards to go, Saskatchewan at the Winnipeg 47.
Well, that's a big play here.
And the reception is made at the 35-yard line by Ray Elgart. Ken Haley made sure he didn't go any further, but it's a first down, Saskatchewan at the 35.
Well, it so often has happened this year in clutch situations. The Saskatchewan quarterbacks have been going to number 81, Ray Elgart, who's had himself some kind of a year. He's a tough receiver and a big target. So when he goes downfield on a hook pattern, it's tough for a guy like Ken Haley to come around him and block him off. And that was a good throw.
If we're saying he's a big guy, he is 6'3", 225. And he tried to make a behind-the-back catch of that pass from Homer Jordan, but wasn't able to do so.
That's a bad throw by Jordan. He should have been able to get that ball in there, and Ray had a full head of steam.
Don't you think that Haley, if he's on that side, or it's Turner if he's on the other side, must have fits when they see that big guy come?
Well, everybody's kind of had fits so far this season because Ray Elgart got off to a tremendous start, 48 catches, and was hurt for a couple of ball games. It's second down, 10 yards to go, Saskatchewan. Jordan's pass is caught. And that will be, will they rule it a touchdown? They rule he's out on the one. Chris DeFrance was finally forced out by Roy Bennett. But Saskatchewan is down to the Winnipeg 20-yard line. When you gamble and lose, it can be disastrous, and that's what happened on that play.
Yeah, boy, they needed a big break, and Scott Flagel went for the interception, and that's great concentration on Chris DeFrance's part because those hands were up in his face, and boy, the fans at Taylor Field have got something to cheer about now because the Roughriders are 1 yard away from taking the lead in this ballgame.
Well, it's unbelievable to think that they are in that position because Winnipeg has just completely controlled the football game. No signal from the officials. Craig Ellis was the ball carrier, did not get in. Appeared for a moment as though he might have coughed up the football, but let's watch.
Well, Denny Ferdinand leads him through there, but when you go up and over the top, Darrell Pallerson, number 76, also met him high in the air, and no gain.
The ball did come out.
Yep.
It's second down from the 1 yard line. Ellis is in for the touchdown. Oh, the pom-poms are out and the cheering is intense. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders know that they're loved here at Taylor Field. They are out in front, 6-4, with 1 minute and 14 seconds left to play in the first half.
Well, you know what I like about that, though? They got the interception by Bruce Miller, and all the good teams take advantage of their opportunities when they get them. And Homer Jordan did a good job. Nice throw to Chris DeFrance, and Craig Ellis finally caps the whole drive off.
Dave Ridgway's point after is good. So now they lead it by a field goal.
And oh, how those turnovers make the difference in ball games. Saskatchewan doing everything right on defense here in this first half, and finally the offense able to get something going. Craig Ellis, an easy road into the end zone, 1 yard touchdown, and Saskatchewan moves out in front 7-4.
You know, we were talking about Saskatchewan and what they had to do to make the playoffs. Last year, against Edmonton and Calgary, they were 0-4. They didn't win a game from either of those two clubs. Now they've won 2 in the 2 games they played, so they really feel they've got a leg up on a playoff position as we reach the halfway point.
Well, Jack Oda realistically said, you know, BC and Winnipeg are above us before the season started. What we have to do, quite simply, is just to get ahead of Edmonton and Calgary and worry about that third playoff position. They now find themselves in a situation where maybe they can move higher in the standings.
Now the Blue Bombers with Haley on the return. Cough up the football, and Haley gets out to the 1 yard line. What a fortunate break for the Blue Bombers that there was nobody else there.
Well, Mark Burness, number 54, came downfield and stripped the ball loose. Oh, gosh, he didn't realize that the ball was loose, or he might have had himself a touchdown. The son of Tederness play with the Riders. He just can't get to it. And then, of course, Ken Haley's lucky he didn't get a safety here.
But with 1 minute and 4 seconds, the Blue Bombers have their hands full, stuck at their 1-yard line.
Well, Saskatchewan will have a timeout, so at some point they can stop the clock.
The ball carrier got to the 5-yard line. Willie Jackson, number 45, was there to make sure he didn't go any further.
Yeah, Gary Duran got a hand on him early, but really those strong linebackers of the Riders have played well today. Billy Jackson is a real hitter.
Clock is now running with 59 seconds left to play in the half.
I'm sure what they'll do is, sorry, Pat, is they'll let this play go and then stop the clock before Winnipeg has to punt.
Second down, 6 yards to go. Blue Bombers at their 5-yard line. Well, they won't have to stop the clock now because Jeff Boyd has speed to burn. Touchdown, Jeff Boyd, 105 yards. That is the longest pass play of 1985. Oh, baby, can that guy fly? From the University of California at Fullerton, Jeff Boyd picks up his 6th touchdown of the season.
And isn't it like Tommy Clements to call something like that? That was a stop-and-go pattern against the cornerback, Eddie Ray Walker, and he just bit up short, and then it was all over. Oh, can that guy run?
Glenn Suter tried to cut him off at the pass number 27, but forget it. Boyd goes all the way 105 yards. And do you think they're a little bit shocked here at Taylor Field right now?
Well, isn't it funny how we go 28 minutes without very much action, and all of a sudden in the last 2, things have really heated up.
And the point after by Trevor Kennard is good. So now the Blue Bombers are back in front. 11-7 with 27 seconds left to play in the first half.
Let's have another look at it. Tommy Clements' pump fake is what really made that play, because Eddie Ray Walker, number 2, just bit up so quickly when he saw Tommy pump that ball, and then I can't believe the speed of Jeff Boyd. 105 yards, you know, that's a long run, and Glenn Suter just couldn't catch up with him.
Mervyn Fernandez had the longest run of the season.
I don't know how it came about, gentlemen, but Tommy Clements is going to join us right at the half and tell us how he picked that play out.
I'll tell you, Bill, you know what's scary? We've got Jeff Boyd on the screen there, and he's not even breathing hard.
I was saying Merv Fernandez had the longest touchdown reception, 90 yards, for the BC Lions, but this one is the longest of 1985. Tom Clements to Jeff Boyd. And listen, with 27 seconds left to play in the half, anything can still happen. Benny Ferdinand started 5 yards deep. And Ferdinand did a good job as he gets out to the 25-yard line before he's brought down there by Pat Canton, number 33. Well, Coach, what do you do in this situation? You go to the locker room trailing by 4 points?
Every time you ask me this, and I make a prediction, they do the opposite.
Jack Otis is a fairly conservative guy. I think he'd be content to go 4 points down as opposed to taking the chance of throwing the interception.
I would think so, Pat. I think, you know, you got yourself back in the ball game. You had a lead and got stunned. I think just run the clock out now and get everything regrouped at halftime. Oh, what do I know?
No. We're going to run the football.
Okay.
And Craig Ellis takes it to the 30-yard line before he's upended there by Tony Norman, number 55. And why not? I mean, let's face it, they weren't in the football game. Winnipeg had completely controlled it. To go to the locker room down by just 4 points, I think, is a moral victory, if nothing else, for Saskatchewan.
Well, I can tell you, Cal Murphy's going to heat up at halftime, and he's going to have some choice words for his club. I'm sure he is very displeased with their production here in the first half.
Barring a penalty, this will be the final play of the half. Craig Ellis He's tripped up as he gets to the 33 or 34-yard line, and that's it. The gun sounds to end the second quarter of play with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers out in front of Saskatchewan 11-7. Bill?
Tom Clements is the man that suddenly made magic in the past few minutes of this first half. Tom, how did that touchdown pass play come about to Boyd?
Well, actually, there were only two receivers out on the pattern, both wide receivers. And their cornerbacks came up and played the short route, and Jeff Boyd just ran around him, and we hit him in between the cornerback and the safety, and then Jeff made a great run after that.
Were you trying to set that play up?
Well, we've been using a little bit of that earlier in the game, but basically that play was just to get a first down and get it out of there, and it turned into a big touchdown for us.
As they often do, too. Tell me, Tom, what has been wrong with the offense in the first half? I know it has not gone as well as you hoped it would.
Well, we were in scoring position a couple times, and I threw some bad balls, and there's no excuse for that. We just had the chance, and we didn't capitalize on them. Our defense is playing great, and we have to score the points when we get the chance.
Has their defense been putting you out of your game plan?
I don't think so. We're doing what we want to do. The first couple series we had the ball, we moved it pretty well, and then we got bogged down a little bit and had some turnovers, but we're doing pretty much what we want to do. We just like to do it a little better.
You know, Tom, you are not the only quarterback that is finding trouble this year with those defenses. They seem to be all getting tougher.
Well, I think the whole league is better, and the defenses over the last couple of years have gotten real good. And there aren't any easy games anymore. Every time you go out there, you have to be ready to face a tough defensive team.
Do you change your offense a little this year, then? Do you try the run more than the pass? Because most clubs have gone to the pass. Of course, with exception of Winnipeg, as you've always used Reeves on the run a fair amount.
Well, we'd like to run it if we can. I think we're more effective when we do that. If we get the defense keying on Willard, then it opens up a lot of other things.
And no changes for the second half?
I don't think so.
All right, Tommy Clements, thank you very much. Fine play that ended it off for Tommy Clements with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So with the score, Winnipeg 11, Saskatchewan 7. This is the CFL on CTV.
This is Carling O'Keefe Sports, the CFL this week.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the CFL.
This is Carling O'Keefe Sports, the CFL this week.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the CFL this week. There are two games yet to come this long weekend, tomorrow and Holiday Monday, so we only have one to look back on. Friday night, we check out the BC Lions.
Over 23,000 were in Ottawa to watch the home side take on the top team in the CFL. But this one had all the early trappings of a blowout. Roy DeWalt hooks up with Jim Sandusky. He avoids would-be tacklers to complete a 50-yard scoring play, 7-0 BC. Meanwhile, Ottawa's J.C. Watts has trouble moving the Riders' offense, but credit the Lions' defense. Watts intercepted by Kevin Konar. That sets up the Lions' next score. The game not yet 8 minutes old. DeWalt gunning outside finds Sandusky again. He wins the foot race to the flag, a 15-yard score, 18-3 at the half. But the Riders start to rally as their defense stiffens. They play pinball with the football before Ricky Barden comes up with it. The Lions' explosive offense would not score in the second half. This is a big turnover, setting up an Ottawa touchdown. Lester Brown runs a yard to pay dirt as the Riders close to within 5 points in the fourth quarter. The fans at Lansdowne Park smell an upset in the making. But the comeback attempt is snuffed out when Darnell Clash intercepts the pass with just 22 seconds left to play. The Lions take over at their own 5. They breathe a big collective sigh of relief, run out the clock, and hang on to win 18-13, upping their league-leading record to 7-1. Coming up in the CFL, 2 games tomorrow on CTV, Edmonton at Calgary. Also on the Holiday Monday, Montreal is at Hamilton. The Concords take on the Tiger Cats. And looking ahead to next week, the CTV Friday Nighter has the well-rested Toronto Argonauts in BC. This has been Carling O'Keefe Sports, the CFL this week. The CFL on CTV continues in a moment.
Come on over to Hometown, new on Channel 6 this fall.
John Allen Cameron. On Sunday, September 15th, please participate in the Terry Fox Run. Make it twice the success. Bring a friend.
We're at this game 29 years ago today, and we got the tickets thanks to the former commissioner, Sid Halter, and I remember those guys like they were here today. Larry Isbell, Frank Tripucka, Bobby Marlowe. Tell me about some of your memories.
Well, I got a lot of great memories. I only spent 4 years here, but they were 4 great years, 1 Grey Cup appearance in 1976, and I think just the camaraderie that we had amongst Rhett Dawson, Roger Gorey, Ron Lancaster, and all those great guys to play with. Those are my memories.
And we're going to find out who the best 25 were in all of Saskatchewan history right now.
And here are your selections. He played for and coached the Riders from 46 to 48, then assumed the general manager's position in 1958, and in his 20-year tenure produced some of the finest teams to wear green and white. The unanimous decision is All-Star General Manager Ken Preston. Joining the Riders in 1964 as an assistant coach was a quiet giant from Turkey Neck Bend, Kentucky. He assumed head coach's position in 1965 and led the Riders to a third-place finish that year. He led his troops to a first-place finish in 67, 69, 70, and to 3 Grey Cup appearances, winning the Grey Cup in 66. Coach of the Year in 1968 and the winningest coach in Rider history, your all-star head coach, Eagle Keys. Our first player was with the Roughriders from 1952 to 69. He joined the team from the Saskatoon Hilltops. Most valuable Canadian 4 times. Noted for the cast on his right forearm and his hush puppies, please welcome All-Star number 41, Ron Atchison. From the University of Oklahoma, an All-Canadian tackle 3 years in a row. Played with the Riders from 66 to 74. The Shenley Award winner as Outstanding Lineman in 1967. All-Star number 61, Ed McQuarters. From Washington State University, an All-Canadian defensive end who was rated as one of the most punishing tacklers in the league. A rugged individual with a winner's attitude. He was a Rider from 61 to 67. All-Star number 75, Garner Ekstrand. A graduate of Scott Collegiate and the Regina Rams, played with the Riders from 68 to 73, the 77 and 78 seasons. He was voted 4 times All-Canadian defensive end and Shenley Award winner as Outstanding Defensive Player in 76 while playing with the BC Lions. The Undertaker, number 76, Bill Baker. A graduate of Notre Dame College at Wilcox and the Saskatoon Hilltops, joined the Riders in 1961 and played until 1972. He was noted as an excellent tackler, a hard-nosed, hard rock all-star, number 50, Wayne Shaw. From Washington State, he joined the Riders in 1965 and played middle linebacker until 1969. Returned in 71 for 2 years. All-Canadian linebacker in 1968 and ranked as one of the strongest men ever to wear the green and white. All-Star number 77, Wally Dempsey. From Baylor University comes the 73 Rookie of the Year. He joined the Riders in 1975 and was the outside linebacker for 5 years. 1976 All-Canadian outside linebacker, the Texas Gentleman, number 37, Roger Gorey. The Regina Vermeil High School graduate and Weber State star was the Riders' Territorial Protection Choice of 1974. He is the Riders' all-time interception leader with 38 and holds team records of 4 interceptions returned for touchdowns. All-Canadian Defensive All-Star, number 20, Ken McEachran. From the Saskatoon Hilltops comes the second all-time Rider interception leader with 35 to his credit. He played from 65 to 75 and has the Rider record for most fumble return yards in career. The Polish Prince, number 27, Ted Dushinsky. A Moose Jaw native who graduated from the University of Colorado, played with the Riders from 73 to 76. All-Canadian and All-Western Football Conference defensive back each of the 4 years he played for the Riders. The 1973 Rookie of the Year, number 17, Lorne Richardson. From Grambling University comes the small college All-American and most valuable defensive player. He came to Saskatchewan in 1977 and ended his career last year. Fourth on the Ryder all-time interception list with 33. The stick man, number 25, Steve Dennis. From the University of Florida comes an All-American safety and an All-American high school quarterback, holder of the Ryder record for longest interception returns of 112 yards. He was Western Conference defensive back for 6 years of the 7 years he played for the Riders. The defensive quarterback, number 30, Bruce Bennett. Football fans, your all-star defensive team. And now, your all-star offensive team. A Regina native steeped in Rider tradition. Graduated from the Rams and attended the University of Arizona. Joined the Riders in 1961 and played center until 1970. All-Canadian center for 6 consecutive years. All-star number 43, Ted Ernest. From Syracuse University comes our right guard. He came from the Philadelphia Eagles in mid-season in 1959 and played until 1968. A 3-time All-Canadian guard, known as one of the toughest and meanest players in Rider history. The tough guy, number 66, Al Benesek. A double All-Star from the University of New Mexico, joined the Riders in 1965 and played until 75. He is the all-time scoring leader with 863 points, plus being All-Canadian offensive guard 5 times. All-Star guard and All-Star place kicker, number 53, Jack Abensham. From Utah State comes our right offensive tackle, a 2-season NFL pro. He joined Saskatchewan during the famous 64 mid-season airlift and remained until retirement in 75. 4-time All-Canadian tackle, the gentle giant, number 67, Clyde Brock. From Texas A&M University, in 1951, he joined the Riders after 5 years in professional baseball. An all-star on many occasions at both offensive and defensive tackle. A member of the Canadian Football Hall of Fame, all-star tackle, number 36, Martin Ruby. Washington State University provided the Riders with a split end, noted for his deceptive speed and sneaky quickness. He sends his thanks from the Houston Oilers training camp. Gluey Huey, number 31, Hugh Campbell. Florida State University provided our left wide receiver. He was a 2-season veteran of the NFL when he joined the Riders in 74. He was an All-Canadian receiver in 76, his final year with the Riders. Great hands and great moves. Number 25, Rhett Dawson. From Clemson University came this receiver in the 1977 season. Holds the Rider record for the most catches single season with 102 in 1982. All-Canadian slot back, number 17, Joey Walters. From the University of Alabama, the number 2 all-time rushing leader. He played for the Riders from 1953 till 59. He passed away suddenly this spring, but you've honored the memory of a great running back by choosing all-star number 32, Bobby Marlowe. A star from Tulsa University, joined the Riders for the 51 to 53 seasons. His 20 singles in 51 is still the Rider record for most singles in a season. His 28 touchdown passes in 1951 is tied with Ron Lancaster for the Rider record for most in a single season. A true triple threat player. The man from Dauberville, all-star punter number 45, Glenn Dobbs. From Arizona State, via 2 years in the NFL, is the only all-star still active in the CFL. He joined the Riders in 81 and had 3 consecutive 1,000-yard-plus reception years. Holding the Rider record for most receiving yards in a single game, 260 on 9 catches. All-star receiver, number 20, Chris France. From Washington State University comes the greatest fullback in CFL history. His records from 63 to 75 are endless, All-Canadian 9 times. Shenley's most outstanding player in 65, inducted into both the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame and the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. What more could be said about number 34, George Reed? From 1963 to 78, this all-star from Wittenberg College in Ohio led the green and white up and down the field. He's the holder of 11 Rider team records. 4-time All-Canadian, 2-time Shenley Most Outstanding Player, inducted into the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame, the Canadian Sports Hall of Fame, and Canadian Football Hall of Fame, the man thought too small to ever be a quarterback, the Little General, number 23, Ron Lancaster.
Memories from more than 31,000 people here at Taylor Field in Regina. And let me tell you, a lot of memories for me, too. This is the CFL on CTV. Halftime continues in a moment.
Moro is the study of contemporary relationships and changing values. Shirley MacLaine, Anthony Hopkins, and Bo Derek star in A Change of Seasons.
We're set to go with the second half here from Taylor Field in Regina, an 11-7 ball game in favor of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers as Trevor Kennard kicks it away. And Denny Ferdinand takes it at his 8-yard line. Ferdinand gets to about the 32, not much further before Ty Jones, number 35, was there to make the stop. Well, there's a look at our Chevrolet halftime statistics. You can see that big 105-yard pass reception. Tom Clements to Jeff Boyd really helped their net yardage situation. 248 yards to 102. But look at the turnover story. 4 by Winnipeg, just 1 by Saskatchewan, and that's the reason that the Jolly Green Giants are still in this ball game.
And, of course, 2 of those interceptions by number 4, Bruce Miller, the first one setting up that touchdown run by Craig Ellis.
So Homer Jordan remains at quarterback, hands the ball to Denny Ferdinand. And Denny's the kind of a kid that'll get this crowd pumped up because of his slashing style of running as he gets over the 30 to about the 31 for a pickup of 8.
You know, Jack Goda, like everyone else, wondered why Montreal had turned him loose, why Winnipeg had turned Denny Ferdinand loose. But since he has been here, Jack Goda said he's done everything that we've asked of him. He's been a great runner. I can't understand why those teams let him go, and he's pleased as punch to have him in his lineup.
It's second down, a yard to go. Saskatchewan from their 31. Again, this is Ferdinand. But he was rocked as he got to the line of scrimmage by Frank Robinson.
Pat, I was going to say sometimes it takes a few scares to a young ball player to make them understand what they have to do when they're on the field. That may or may not be the case with Ferdinand because he's always had that great running ability.
Well, you're right. There's no question that Joe Galat would have liked to have still had him in Montreal, but I'm told that they weren't the greatest of friends. And then in Winnipeg, I'm led to believe that it was a contract hassle more than anything else. Jordan's pass is drilled in there to Christopher France for a first down. I mean, he put that one on a line, and there was no way that David Shaw could do anything except make the tackle. A 16-yard pickup. Watch this one.
Yeah, he just drills it right in between number 35, Ty Jones, and then the defensive back, Dave Shaw, comes up, makes the play, but that is some kind of throw. And, you know, Chris DeFrance has to be a little pumped up after being introduced to the all-time team at halftime, and he'd love nothing better than just to have a big day. Made a big catch in the first half and set up that Ellis touchdown.
Denny Ferdinand is the injured player. I want to tell you, I found it very emotional. I know you did, too.
Oh, I sure did.
You know, it's as though it was yesterday when I think of Bobby Marlowe, the late Bobby Marlowe, who was one of the 25 players chosen, Larry Isbell, Frank Tripucka. And, you know, the first Grey Cup game I ever attended was 1951. As a young boy, my mother brought me to the game in Toronto, and we saw Ottawa play Saskatchewan. Glenn Dobbs was the quarterback, and he was here today. Boy, it just brought so many memories back for me.
And, you know, sorry, Bill, the tradition, the football tradition in Regina has been so great over the years, and it's just really a pleasure to see them honor all these fellows.
Well, Jordan is sacked once again back at the 41 by Tony Norman and Frank Robinson.
I don't think there are any football fans across Canada who watched the halftime who weren't emotional. anyone who's been connected with the game would have to be when they see the great stars come out. I was talking to Paul Dojak, who was one of the great referees, and yes, folks, they're being great referees, but he was wearing a Riders sweater. I said, Paul, they accused you of that during your entire career. How come they finally got you into one?
It's too bad the little guy, Ronnie Lancaster, couldn't have been here. He's going to be working for the CBC on that football game out of Hamilton tomorrow. But boy, did he exemplify what football is all about here. Jordan is sacked once again, this time by Stan Mikolas. And now that offensive unit, which has been fairly consistent, the offensive line for Saskatchewan, is really being torn apart by the onrushing Winnipeg defense.
Mikolas stayed out in the field. He's the injured ball player, but they really do get some good penetration. Daryl Patterson, 76, coming in as well, but it's number 75, Stan Mikolas, who comes up with the sack, and consecutive sacks for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
That's 6 in the ball game for a total of 49 yards. So Saskatchewan is going to have to give up the football here. It is 3rd down. The ball is at their 29-yard line, and they've got to get to the Winnipeg 51 for a first down. So I think it's safe to assume that Jerry McGrath will be punting.
That's a good guess.
See that? Think I don't know this game? And Steele is going to let this one bounce. It bounces back towards the Riders, and no flag came down. Now, I'm surprised that there wasn't a flag, but I'm really pleased to see that they used some discretion. They knew the Riders were trying to get out of there. It's 11-7. Winnipeg leads Saskatchewan. We'll be back in a moment.
Just fine. Just a case of the wind being knocked out of him, so he'll be in the next offensive sequence for Saskatchewan, Pat.
Thank you, Bill. That punt by Jerry McGrath only traveled 24 yards, and as a result, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, once again, as they have been virtually the entire ball game, are in Saskatchewan territory to begin this series of downs. They have possession at the Saskatchewan 53-yard line. Tom Clements remains quarterback. Excuse me, that's Huffnagel in there now. And the pass intended for James Hood goes right through his hands. So Huffnagel, number 12, replaces Tom Clements, number 2, as the Winnipeg Blue Bombers obviously were not pleased with their offensive performance. Tommy leaves the football game having completed 12 of 20 for 216 yards and that 1 touchdown pass to Jeff Boyd.
Well, putting John Huffnagel in there is no slouch either. I mean, he can get the job done. 6 touchdown passes already this season, and just in a backup capacity.
Well, Tommy, by his own admission, will tell you he's not having a great season. Flags are down. Riders probably offside. Huffnagel is horse-collared by Eddie Lowe as he gets to the Saskatchewan 45-yard line. The Riders were offside. Now, what Winnipeg has to decide is, let's take the 5 yards because they haven't got the first down. As a matter of fact, they're a couple of yards short. So they'll take the 5-yard penalty.
I think Rick Goltz, number 63, jumped offside, and they have to take the penalty in this case.
Offside. Saskatchewan 63. 2nd down repeated.
When the Winnipeg Blue Bombers came out on the field, I asked Cal Murphy, I said, boy, it's a tough one, isn't it? He says, you know what it is? He says, this place is a zoo. And he's not kidding.
Interesting to hear what the attendance is. They'll announce that in the 4th quarter. It's probably an all-time record. Huffnagel's pass is caught by James Hood. And Hood spins his way with good determination inside the 35 to the 34. He was grabbed by Eddie Lowe, who just wouldn't let him go.
Well, that's the pass pattern that he dropped a couple of plays earlier, but he really runs a good hook pattern, finds that open area, works his way back to the quarterback. You see, he's had an excellent afternoon, 7 catches already, but John Huffnagel went back to him, didn't worry about the pass he dropped earlier, and he knows he's got confidence in James Hood.
And you know, you talk about Huffnagel and Tom Clements, they're both pretty good friends. As a matter of fact, they're going to be sharing a house now that Kathy Clements has gone back to South Bend. And the catch once again is made by Hood with Bruce Miller, number 4, there to bring him down. It's Paul Bennett's house, as a matter of fact, in Winnipeg that they're renting. So Hufnagel and Clemens will become the odd couple in Paul Bennett's house. It's another first down for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers at the Saskatchewan 21-yard line. But you're so right. Boy, is it handy to have a guy like John Hufnagel come in and pick up the offense. And he's gone to the end zone for Boyd, but it's over his head. The defensive coverage supplied by Eddie Ray Walker, number 2.
I really felt like Jeff Boyd let up on that play, made his last cut to the corner, and really didn't think Hufnagel was going to throw the ball to him. And let's watch him now. He's going to break it back to the corner, and I know he didn't really let up, just didn't have the good angle to throw that ball in there.
So make it 2nd and 10, Winnipeg. The ball remains at the Saskatchewan 21-yard line. Hufnagel stood in there neatly, delivers it over the middle to Willard Reeves, and Billy Jackson was there to cut the legs out from under him along with Darrell Toussaint.
Well, they did a great job back in their coverage, just a 4-man rush and the linebackers dropping off, and they did a good job. We're going to have a look at that overthrow to Jeff Boyd again.
Well, Cal Murphy is not pleased because they have had constant field position the entire game. The only time they didn't have good field position, they turned it into a touchdown, 105 yards.
That's true.
So Trevor Kennard will now try another field goal, this time from 20 yards out. And it's good. So with 8 minutes and 31 seconds left to play in the third quarter, the Blue Bombers go out in front by a converted touchdown, 14-7. We'll be back in a moment. Timeouts allowed in the last 3 minutes of each half. If you feel they should increase them, 1-900-720-3720. If you feel they should remain at 1, which it is right now, then you vote no. 1-900-720-4720. There is a 50-cent service charge. The Saskatchewan Roughriders have possession at their 35-yard line following the second field goal of the ball game for Trevor Kennard. Jordan's pass is caught up around the 40 or 41-yard line. Catch was made by number 80, Michael Elarms, with Roy Bennett, the cornerback on that side, number 23, there to make sure that he didn't pick up any more than the 5 yards.
That's a good call for Homer Jordan on first down. He'll get some positive yardage, 5 yards. Not a bad play. If he breaks a tackle, he can go a long way.
Stephen Jones, 85, comes out of the ball game. Stu Frazier, number 11, is in there as the wide receiver on this side. And here they come, and Craig Ellis is upended back of the line of scrimmage by Frank Robinson, who is just having himself a career game here this afternoon.
Well, he sure is. When we do our Carling O'Keefe Game Stars at the end, well, his name is at the top of the list right now. Coming on the blitz, you know, you get that early penetration, and it just throws off everybody's timing, the running plays.
Saskatchewan hasn't moved the football, though, and it's tough to win football games when they don't.
Well, I think that Winnipeg defense has just really overwhelmed them this afternoon.
So Jerry McGrath, who only got away a 24-yarder last time, stands at his 22-yard line to get this one away. Not too deep again, and this is Steele. Steele gets right up to midfield. And it seems redundant to say it again, but the Blue Bombers have excellent field position.
Boy, Glenn Steele, he knows what to do with that football. We saw him a few years ago, or last year rather, from the University of British Columbia.
A couple of years ago,
yeah. In the Vanier Cup, he set a rushing record in that game. Shows you the depth, once again, of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. He can't start, but what a valuable guy to have around. Pat Kantner beside him there is a good one, too.
They start right at midfield with John Hufnagel at quarterback. The draw for Willard Reeves, and it goes no place because Billy Jackson was there to bring him down immediately, number 45. Boy, Billy Jackson has played well this afternoon.
Yeah, he sure has. Watch, he reads this play perfectly. He can't get the block on him, and he stuffs it. Well, Regina's had a good day defensively.
Well, he's had a good day. Brad, who's spotting for me up here this afternoon, he's been sharp. The loss was about 3 yards, so make it second down. And 13 yards to go. Hufnagel's pass for Boyd is caught inbounds at the 40-yard line. Eddie Ray Walker on the coverage. And I think the people on this side probably figured the ball was going to go out of bounds, but Boyd just reached up. Let's watch him in isolation here.
He runs a good pattern, takes it to the sideline. Watch, he makes a good catch here. Get those feet down. Nice play.
He is very graceful, isn't he?
Yep.
Boy, he's like a gazelle out there.
Well, all the good ones like Mervyn Fernandez and that, they just have that great, easy running style.
This is James Hood. And Hood gets the first down inside the 30-yard line, finally tackled by Fran McDermott, number 29, but it's another first down. And you almost get the feeling now that the Bombers are getting ready to put this one in the end zone.
Well, John Hufnagel, he's doing a masterful job here, mixing things up, out pattern, hitch pattern, and then he works the ball deep, too, just to make sure the cover guys don't get on him too tight, but he has to stand in there and take his licks when he throws that football.
First down, Winnipeg at the Saskatchewan 28, Willard Reeves. And Reeves is down inside the 20 before Jerry Friesen, number 50, made the stop. Hufnagel has been good on 5 of 7 passes for 64 yards as we wait and see what the penalty is about.
Well, I think once again Saskatchewan jumped offside.
Fran McDermott is shaken up on the play. Speaking with Jack Goda before the ball game, he really thinks he's a wonderful guy to have on a football team. He said, you know, he's not a great punt returner, but he doesn't cough up the ball, loves to play the game, very satisfactory inside safety.
Well, he was the Saskatchewan representative in the calendar men of the CFL that Kathy Clemens put together.
Saskatchewan.
There's John Gregory just in behind the head coach of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. John's the offensive coach, and maybe he's one of the reasons this drive is going so well. He had the entire offensive crew around him before they went out, and he was lecturing them in no uncertain terms because John was obviously unhappy with the production. And maybe the change came directly from that meeting on the sidelines a few moments ago.
The offside penalty gives Winnipeg 1st and 5. Sean Keogh, the ball carrier, or no, it was Pat Kantner, number 33. Instead, Darrell Toussaint cut him down, but it's another first down for the Blue Bombers.
They were really keying on Willard Reeves there, and John Hufnagel crossed him up by giving the ball to Pat Kantner. Well, Joe Poplawski, great receiver, but that's a tough assignment to take on Rick Moore at defensive end. You know, Joe did a good job.
First down, Winnipeg at the Saskatchewan 15. The ball comes loose. The Roughriders have possession. Up at their 40-yard line, Dave Singh with the fumble recovery.
Well, it's the hit by number 45, Billy Jackson, that caused all that commotion. There you see him from the back. Hufnagel couldn't pull the ball back in. He was trying to pump fake, and Dave Singh comes up with a recovery.
So another bullet is dodged by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They continue to trail, however, 14-7. We'll be back in just a moment. Out, he was going to pump fake. Dave Singh from the University of British Columbia gives Saskatchewan possession, and it also affords me an opportunity to welcome all the Canadian college football players who have started their training camp. I know they're probably watching the game this afternoon. Have a good year, guys. Give it everything you've got. Jordan goes deep, but he overthrows everybody, including the intended receiver, number 80, Michael Elarms.
Well, he tried to fake the out and up to Michael Elarms, but Roy Bennett, number 23, the fine cornerback of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, didn't bite at all, and Jordan did a smart thing to throw that thing away.
Leaf, I like the nickname the team's got him better than his real name. They call him Smoke Alarms.
And it works well, except that he does pronounce it Elarms, so it, you know, Smoke Elarms.
That's all right. They like it to rhyme. Smoke Alarms and not Elarms.
Tell you who's up here with us right now is one of those all-time All-Stars, Brett Dawson. who doesn't like what he's seeing right now because Homer Jordan is sacked once again. Tony Norman finally gets him, but it was Frank Robinson, who all afternoon has been in that backfield, who was there to make the big play. Norman will get credit for the sack, but Frank Robinson has played so well. You know, we were just saying, Rhett, we really found it emotional standing up here watching that thing, and I'm sure it had to be for you, too. Had a nice visit with Rhett last night.
Rhett's up to his old tricks. He had me out for a few pops, just like we used to do. We were trading lies and things, and the sad part about it is all the stories are true.
Jerry McGrath's punt. This is a good one. Steele is back to his 37-yard line. A flag is down, and so is Steele at the 48-yard line. Eddie Ray Walker was there to throw him to the turf.
Well, we're lucky to have Rhett with us up in the booth, and you're living down in Austin, Texas now. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's right, Luke. I'm down there in real estate and development. It's sure nice to be back up here. See all you guys.
You know
see
what,
the stadium.
You know what I think is really incredible, and the fans at home probably don't realize, is you only spent 2.5 years here in Saskatchewan, but those 2.5 years, people voted you as one of the all-time great receivers here. That must be some kind of honor for you.
Leaf, it's the greatest honor of my life. And to be back up here this weekend is just fantastic. See all the old guys. See you.
Well, you know, I always remember by the first touchdown pass you ever caught up here, and you went in the corner of the end zone, and the old cannon that used to go off. You thought the cannon shot you.
I thought I'd done something wrong.
I remember we were doing that game, as a matter of fact. There's the little screen pass to the wide receiver, Jeff Boyd, and Boyd tiptoes down the sideline to about the 42-yard line before Billy Jackson forces him out. Let me ask you, are you involved at all with football? Do you watch much of it, Rhett? Or do you follow the NFL or the CFL? Or
Pat, I hate to say, I don't spend a lot of time watching it. I have lots of other things I like to do on weekend afternoons, but it's been a big part of my life.
Well, if you were here in Saskatchewan, I know you'd be interested in it because, boy, the whole province is just wrapped up in it, as you well know.
Greatest bunch of fans in the world, Pat.
They sure are.
So on second down and 4 yards to go, Winnipeg has possession at their 41-yard line. And the pass intended for Joe Poplawski is over his head, with Fran McDermott providing the defensive coverage. And so, trailing by just 7 points, Saskatchewan has forced Winnipeg into a punting situation.
Listen, old buddy, we do appreciate you dropping by, and it's good to see you. You look like you could still play.
Well, I feel like it. I'll tell you what, when I was out there at halftime today, I got a few chills up and down the spine myself.
Did you get the urge to go and catch a ball, though?
Sure. You know it.
Listen, all the best to you, Red. It's really great seeing you.
Nice being up here. Nice seeing you guys. Thanks.
Good to see you, Red. All the best. For only the 4th time this afternoon, Bob Cameron is punting for Winnipeg. Oh, and does he put this one in orbit? Stu Fraser at his 18-yard line, and Fraser gets it back to the 30. Down very quickly was John Bonk, number 43, the offensive center, to make the tackle.
What we have for everybody in the Winnipeg area is a recipe and interview book that is put out by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers players. It goes, as a matter of fact, all the money to the Manitoba Kidney Foundation and to minor football, but you have all the players that are taking place. Joe Poplawski, as an example, is one. Darrell Patterson, he likes chicken and champagne with oysters. That's not bad. John Pitts says peppery beef stroganoff. Poplawski likes sweet and sour. That's what you like, Pat. But it's available at the Winnipeg Blue Bomber office, and you can pick it up at any time starting tomorrow.
All right, there's a look at the new quarterback who is in to run that Saskatchewan offense, Harold Smith. As I mentioned earlier in the show, he is a first-year player with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, but he was brought to Canada by the Edmonton Eskimos, and they paid him big bonus money. Jack Goda says this guy has a major league arm. His first pass went incomplete, but let's watch now on 2nd and 10 what he does from the 30. And the pass goes incomplete. Ken Haley providing the defensive coverage on Ray Elgar.
Now, this isn't the kind of defense you want to go against to get your feet wet either. I mean, this is a tough group you're running at, but he's 6'2", 210, and boy, if size means anything, that's the perfect size for a quarterback. Tall guy that can see over those on-rushing defensive linemen. You see Homer Jordan and Joe Powell discussing things. You know, I think it's extremely helpful to have a guy like Powell, although he's not playing, to have him on the sidelines and maybe just go over a few things when a young quarterback comes off the field.
So Jerry McGrath, who has certainly had a lot more work than his counterpart Bob Cameron, is back to punt again. That's a good punt. High, a lot of hang time. Steele slips out of the first tackle of Billy Jackson, but then is grabbed by number 62, Vic Stevenson, as he crossed the 40 to the 41-yard line. 1 minute and 9 seconds left to play in this third quarter. There's the poll. Should the CFL increase the number of team timeouts allowed in the last 3 minutes of each half? If you want to vote yes, there's the number. If you think it should stay at 1 timeout per club, then you vote no. Penalty on that punt return, and here's the call.
Holding. Winnipeg 74. 1st and 10.
Vernon Paul, number 74, is called for holding, so the Blue Bombers are pushed back inside their 30 at the 29-yard line. We're winding down to the final minute of the third quarter. Hufnagel has been good on 6 of 9 pass attempts in this quarter for 71 yards. And he gets nowhere as he's dropped back of the line of scrimmage at the 30-yard line. Rick Goltz, number 63, was there to make the tackle.
Well, he's had himself a pretty good ball game as well, but if you're the defensive coordinator of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, that's what you want to see. Make John Hufnagel run with the football, and he did a good job downfield covering those receivers.
Goltz is 63, Rick Moore is 76, and Gary Doolin, number 70. Jeff Roberts is 71, and he was impressive in that first half. Jeff Roberts is the man in there to get the quarterback sacked back at the 17-yard line. Well, this is the kind of a football game where they have had so many opportunities to capitalize, and Winnipeg hasn't done it. Saskatchewan is still in it, thanks to their defense.
Well, they really have played well as a group. Goltz coming in on the play as well, but Jeff Roberts in his first game has looked extremely impressive. And, you know, I think that's one of the differences why Tommy Clements does all the quarterbacking really for Winnipeg most of the time, because he just has that little better mobility to maybe get away from the pass rush, whereas John Hufnagel is a pretty easy target to go after.
Jeff Roberts is 6'2", 245 pounds, and I'll guarantee you every pound is on there, and he's at least 6'2". Oh, what a punt by Cameron. This one is back to the 28-yard line. Bruce Miller has to field it there. And Miller gets it out to the 40 before Scott Flagel, number 14, is there to bring him down. There's a guy who's pretty happy at the end of the third quarter. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers continue to lead the Saskatchewan Roughriders 14-7. We'll return with the fourth quarter in a moment. In Regina this afternoon, 29,588. There's your old pal, the Flame. Doesn't have his head on fire yet, though.
Oh, that's good. I'm sure the people around him are happy for that.
The pass was intended for Craig Ellis and knocked away by Ty Jones, number 35.
Pat, I don't understand where they put the other people to make it a record crowd in '82, because it looks like every nook and cranny is filled here today, and yet they're almost 1,000 under their record.
Yeah, I don't think they're counting the people that are sitting on the rooftops, though, that are around here. If they counted everybody who was watching from some vantage point, guaranteed it has to be a record.
Maybe that's it.
There are the three-quarter Chevrolet statistics, 287 to only 92. Not much of an offensive performance for Saskatchewan. The pass is complete to Michael Elons in front of David Shaw.
Yeah, he made a good catch, too, to hang on to football, stay in bounds, and Dave Shaw gave him a pretty good shot into the bench. But you saw those third-quarter stats, and that 92 yards, I mean, really tells the story. Had they been able to really put some offense together, they could have been well up on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
But the amazing thing is that they're still in the football game.
Yeah, that's a great catch.
Coming into this ball game, Michael Elarms had caught 23, 2 of them for touchdowns. And so far in the ball game today, he has 3 more for 27.
John Sturtevant is the injured ball player. Of course, last week, the Pacific Western Lineman of the Week had himself a great game, and he's had some injury problems the last few years, but heck of a good defensive end.
Well, one of the reasons that they have had some problems offensively, statistician Bobby Layden points out, are the 7 sacks registered by that Winnipeg defense. But it's a first down, Saskatchewan. The ball at their 51-yard line. Harold Smith, the quarterback, throws. Elgard wasn't able to bring it in. Boy, Haley was on him immediately.
He was, and was the heat ever coming from number 35, Tyrone Jones. Harold Smith had to let that ball go, and Ray Elgard almost made a circus catch.
Harold Smith does have the good gun, though, as Jack Goda suggested. He's from Texas Southern, and he can throw the football.
Watch Ray Elgard makes a great attempt here, but just a little too far. But I like that size of Harold Smith, 6'2" and 210. You know, you kind of figure he's going to be a pretty sturdy guy back there, can take the odd shot and see over those linemen coming in.
Look at this one. He's looking for Elon, but he couldn't catch up to the football. Roy Bennett was with him step for step.
I mean, he just flicked his wrist. I mean, he didn't wind up and really throw that thing hard. He just flicked that wrist and overthrew Michael Elarms.
Yeah, I would suggest we remember this fella's name, Harold Smith. I think is going to be able to play in this league. This is the first opportunity we've had to see him, but boy, he can throw the football.
Jerry McGrath's been a busy guy this afternoon.
How many punts? He has had 11 punts. Sean Keogh goes nowhere as he's wrapped up at the 24-yard line by Mark Ernest, number 54. So with 13 minutes and 16 seconds left to play in the ball game, Winnipeg continues to lead at 14-7. We'll be back in just a moment. Saskatchewan do something offensively because they're still in this ball game. And there you see Winnipeg's last victory in Regina was September the 5th of 1982.
Interesting point for the next game for Saskatchewan. It looks like Pau will be ready at quarterback to start against Montreal. That's a week today. Next Sunday in Montreal at the Big O. So well, he's going to make it quite a game.
Yeah, he's had himself a good season. It was really unfortunate that he was injured.
Willard Reeves, the ball carrier, and he gets those knees pumping high. Gets out over the 30 to the 32. Eddie Lowe and Darrell Toussaint were there to combine on the tackle. So the pickup is about 7 yards, make it 2nd and 3. Look at Eddie Lowe. He's had a big game this afternoon.
Well, I tell you, he does a heck of a job taking on big old Nick Pastaya, sheds him off, and then makes a play on Willard.
Second down, 3.
But the interesting thing is, this ball game is up for grabs with still 12.5 minutes left to play.
Well, if you're a defense lover, you've had a great game to watch this afternoon.
2nd down, 3 yards to go. Hufnagel's pass is caught by number 29, Jerome Erdman, and he'll have the first down. Fran McDermott forced him out up around the 38-yard line.
That's a pretty good throw by John Hufnagel. That's a long way to pick up just a few yards to throw that football, but Jerome Erdman, who has played well for them, of course, he replaced Rick House. That's his first catch this afternoon. Rick House, of course, free agent going to the Edmonton Eskimos, but Jerome Erdman's come in and done a good job.
So Winnipeg will continue their possession. The ball is actually spotted just inside their own 39-yard line. Here's the reverse to number 70, Jeff Boyd. Look at the speed of this kid. And he's down very close to the Saskatchewan 41-yard line before Eddie Ray Walker, number 2, finally makes the tackle. But he is blinding fast. 30 yards to pick up by Jeff Boyd, but there was a penalty marker down on the field.
Well, they really do a good job executing this. Couple of good blocks out in front. There's John Blanc, number 43. Jeff Boyd, or rather James Hood downfield helping out as well, but all for naught as the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are penalized, and that ball's coming back.
It's coming back, but
illegal block. Winnipeg 65. After yards gained. First and 10.
Okay.
So you heard it. The call was on Nick Vastaya for an illegal block, but they did pick up the first down before the infraction. So they'll have possession at their own 49-yard line, Winnipeg. This is Willard Reeves, and Reeves gets to the line of scrimmage not any further. Rick Goltz, number 63, was there to bring him down.
Well, that group of Rick Goltz, Jeff Roberts, and Rick Moore have really had themselves a good day.
They came from all over for this game. This guy traveled a few miles.
I think he was at the party I was at last night.
He looks a little like you did.
How could you play the day after parties like that?
Well, I didn't play a heck of a lot.
So it's second down, 10 yards to go. Winnipeg at their 49. Jeff Roberts was offside, number 71. Huffnagel was sacked by Rick Goltz, but the 5-yard penalty will make it 2nd and 5, Winnipeg.
You're going to see number 71 at the bottom of your screen. There he goes, Jeff Roberts. Offside. Huffnagel's got a free one, but he couldn't get the ball away.
Winnipeg Blue Bombers haven't made
Offside.
many...
Saskatchewan 71. Second down repeated.
I was saying they haven't made any changes to any great extent, and the reason is, as far as Cal Murphy is concerned, he said, although there's a tremendous amount of talent available, we're not going to make changes for change's sake. And Cal feels stability is more important than anything else. In other words, keeping units together rather than just making changes because you can find somebody who might be a little bit better.
Yeah, I agree with that philosophy too, Bill. It's second down, 5 yards to go. Willard Reeves has a big hole, has the first down, and is still going inside the Saskatchewan 40 to the 39 before Dave Singh finally hops on his back to bring him down at that point. But the pickup is 16 yards for Willard Reeves on his 16th carry of the ball game for a total of just 58 yards.
That's a good call by John Huffnagel, too. Saskatchewan's been getting some pretty good pressure in this third and fourth quarter. And he just crossed him up by handing off to Willard Reeves in the drop play. Boy, he can run with that football.
First down, Winnipeg. Pass is complete to Hood, but on him right away was Eddie Ray Walker, the quarterback, number 2 on that side. James Hood has been a very busy fellow this afternoon. He's caught 10 passes for a total of 104 yards. And we're going to have to give him every consideration for our Carling O'Keefe offensive games as well. Pickup was about 5 yards.
Saskatchewan anticipating the Bombers to run as they bring 77 Al Johns in and take number 50, the linebacker Jerry Friesen, out of the ball game.
Huffnagel's pass just incomplete. Looking for Randy Faby, number 72, and Randy's got to be pleased. His dad was one of the old Saskatchewan Roughriders, Martin Faby, who was introduced here at halftime. Former punter with both Montreal and Saskatchewan, and the ball just goes off his fingertips.
Well, we're talking to Cal Murphy about Faby before the ball game, and he said the kid's just a little rough around the edges right now, but in time he thinks he can be a real plus for this Winnipeg offense.
Kennard has been good on 2 of 3 field goals. This one comes from 41 yards out, and it is good. And it's a big one because it gives the Winnipeg Blue Bombers a 10-point lead. Winnipeg 17, Saskatchewan 7. We'll be back in a moment.
This is my car. It takes a big chunk out of my paycheck every month. So I want
this car to last. That's why I use Quaker State. It's especially
blended motor oil, made to help my car last for a long, long time. And a long, long time is...
how long I intend to keep my wheels. Because to tell you the truth...
a long, long time is how long it's going to take me to pay it off. Quaker State helps cars last.
That's the final play. Your team works hard and that's your game. Bring your thirsty self out here. You've got the time, we've got the beer. For what you have in mind. Hey, yeah! Come on, it's Miller time.
The clean, smooth taste of Miller High Life. That's Miller time.
Next Saturday afternoon, we'll all be at Lansdowne Park in the nation's capital to watch the Blue Bombers against the revitalized Ottawa Roughriders. That game will come to you at 1:30 next Saturday afternoon, live here on CTV.
Well, I was really impressed with Ottawa's defense the other night on their loss to the BC Lions, but they've just got to get a little more on offense, and they could take advantage of some of their opportunities against some of these better clubs.
Saskatchewan starts from its own 35-yard line. Pass is complete to Ray Algart for a first down up at the 47-yard line. Tackle was made by Darrell Patterson, number 76.
Boy, am I ever impressed with the delivery of young quarterback Harold Smith. He just zipped that right in there. Ray Algart, a good pattern, find that soft spot in between the linebackers.
Well, it's true. The Blue Bombers have the Grey Cup, and they're certainly one of the elite teams. Yeah. They are one of the elite teams in the CFL, and if they can win this one this afternoon, they'll put the pressure right back on the BC Lions again. Pass is no good. Up around midfield. He was looking for Chris DeFrance, but the hit was made by Wiley Turner.
And Scott Flagel, number 14, also came over and laid the lumber on him. Talked about him earlier. Really has become a fine safety.
Well, you're not going to be too impressed with Harold Smith's numbers, but the guy has thrown the football very well. I can't believe that he's thrown 13 passes. It's 8. It's 2 for 8. Well, they run the little counter to the 50-yard line and come up with only a gain of 3 yards because Tony Norman was there to close it down. Craig Ellis couldn't pick up that one big block that he needed. So the Riders will be punting with 7:54 left to play.
You know, this game is not only tough for the players, Pat and Leaf. It's a real sunny field here where the Blue Bomber fans are sitting. And I think it's a good thing they got Labor Day to get back home and a day to rest before they go to work, and they'd never make it if they had to start work tomorrow.
Well, I mean, the Grey Cup best. I mean, it was just a Grey Cup mood around Regina last night. Good punt by McGrath. Steelers back to his 3-yard line. And returns it all the way to the 20. Mike Anderson, number 66, was there to make the tackle. It's a 17-7 ball game in favor of the Blue Bombers. We'll be back in just a moment.
By being efficient, we can reduce our costs to shippers, to our customers. They don't have to bear the higher cost of an inefficient organization.
I work the CP railway line.
It is the customer that is the critical element. If our customer has a good, solid future, so do we. We aren't happy with just being good. We would like to be the best.
CP Rail, helping Canada move forward.
Cooper has always given you the best protection in hockey. Now we've got you covered right down to the ankles. Introducing new Cooper Ruse skates with our exclusive Cooper Comfort Wedge. It supports and locks your heel and ankle into place for a long-lasting, comfortable fit. Because better fit means better skating power and control with every stride. Ask for Cooper Ruse with the Cooper Comfort Wedge. The world plays hockey with Cooper.
The Blue Bombers are going to be in Ottawa next Saturday, but their next home game is a dandy. They'll play host to the Montreal Concords. Montreal off to its best start in years. They've had a week off, and they are impressive. If you get an opportunity, go watch the Montreal Concords, who incidentally will be in Hamilton tomorrow night.
Well, they sure have put together a great team, and a lot of credit, of course, goes to head coach and general manager Joe Gillette, Bob Geary there, stable force in that organization, and boy, I've been impressed with the way their team has performed.
Hufnagel couldn't find anybody open, and then Jeff Roberts just hopped on his back at about the 25-yard line, so it'll be a 5-yard pickup, but it would have been a lot more if Roberts hadn't gotten over there.
Well, Roberts, the Carling O'Keefe game stars for defense is really going to be tough. You're looking at Frank Robinson, Jeff Roberts,
Eddie
Miller,
Lowe, Billy Jackson,
Bruce Miller, a couple of interceptions in the first half, so really have to put our thinking caps on.
I don't think I'll vote in this one. Second down, 5 yards to go. Winnipeg at their 25. 6:30 left in the ball game. Willard Reeves, the ball carrier, does not get the first down because Rick Goltz, number 63, was there to bring him down.
Well, you talk about a guy who's had a game, too. Rick Goltz really played hard. A couple of sacks, and that's a big play right there to stop Willard Reeves short of that first down. Just a little over 6 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter. The hometown Riders trail by 10.
Rick Goltz from Simon Fraser. Former BC Lion is there to bring down one of the very best running backs in football, Willard Reeves. So Bob Cameron stands inside his 15 to punt on third down and 3 yards to go. Well, this guy is putting on one of the great kicking performances of this or any other year. Miller couldn't bring that one down, and he's 15 yards deep in the end zone, and finally has to give up the single point. I don't know how far that one was. Bobby Layden, 98 yards. A 98-yard punt by Bob Cameron. I don't think I've ever seen a punt further in my life.
You know, it's funny what Bill Stevenson was talking about earlier today, that the kickers all like to come and kick in this park. It must be the good clean air out here or something, because that ball just took off. And give his cover team some credit. They were downfield chasing that thing 98 yards.
For almost the first time in history, there is practically no wind right now, too. I mean, that is a first.
It seems to me that Dave Mann or somebody might have had a 100-yard boot. We're looking it up right now. But if it did happen, I didn't see it. Pass is caught by Michael Elarms. And Elarms gets close to a first down at the 44-yard line, but Frank Robinson forced him out.
Frank Robinson's everywhere.
The longest punt is by Zenon Andrusishin of the Toronto Argonauts, 108 yards. Dave Mann had one for 102. Zenon Andrusishin, incidentally, is back in Toronto, having played the last few seasons with Tampa Bay. And I'm sure he's watching this ball game and probably remembers the occasion when he had the 108-yard punt. Homer Jordan keeps the ball himself and is in there to pick up the first down.
Goda says that Jordan gives him the fits. He says every time he gets that ball, he just gives me the fits because I never think he's going to get it off in the 20 seconds allotted. Well, you can see how much this game means. BC with 4 points more than Winnipeg, so they need that victory. And Saskatchewan, well, if they can win and move into a tie with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers for second, as Goda says, it puts us right up there in the top.
Well, Homer Jordan did quite a job to get away from Ty Jones. And then we're going to have an interference foul on Frank Robinson, who was all over Craig Ellis. What a job by Homer Jordan, though, to get away from Ty Jones.
Forward pass interference. Winnipeg 37, first and 10.
Well, Frank shaking his head saying, I didn't do it, but that's a good call. There he goes. Just before the ball got there, gave him a little tap on the helmet.
So it's first down. A flag comes down, and Winnipeg is offside. This is a free one for Jordan. Michael Elarms makes the catch and has another Saskatchewan first down at the 47. Darrell Patterson, 76, was there to bring him down.
Well, Frank Robinson was offside on the play, but I'm sure they're going to decline that and take the first down that Michael Elarms was able to pick up.
Offside. Winnipeg 37, decline.
Well, as you heard Leaf tell you, it was Frank Robinson who jumped offside. Hurry up offense now for Saskatchewan. They have possession at the Winnipeg 47, trailing by 10. Jordan's pass is caught by Ray Algard, very close to the first down marker. Ken Haley, 24, was there to bring him down.
Good job by that offensive line to pick up the blitz, too, to Homer Jordan time to find Ray Algard. Boy, that defense gives you so many different looks the way they blitz and come at you. They bring sometimes all 4 linebackers, and really the offensive line has done a pretty good job here on this drive.
It's second down, a yard to go for the first down for Saskatchewan. The give is to Denny Ferdinand. He has the first down as he reaches for the 36-yard line. But now, of course, the clock, an all-important factor here. We're down to 4 minutes left to play in the ball game.
It's interesting. Most people across the country call BC Lions the #1 team in the league. Jack Goda, the coach of the Roughriders, says he feels the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are the best team in the CFL right now. I don't know if that's to try and hype his players or if he really means that.
Well, I know this much. BC's only lost 1 football game, and Winnipeg has lost 2. And I know that people have been critical of the Lions, but, I mean, what more can they do? They're off to a great start, 7-1. It is a first down for Saskatchewan. They trail by 11 points. It's 18-7. And Jordan just had no chance because Stan Mikowitz was there on him the moment he got the pass from center.
Well, they were just overmanned there. They just brought everybody. All 4 linebackers were coming, and Jordan just had no chance to get that ball off. Stan Mikowitz, the first guy there.
That's the 8th quarterback sack by that Winnipeg defense this afternoon. Uh-oh, it's going to be 9, I suspect. He just got it off. That was a desperation throw looking for Craig Ellis. Frank Robinson and Ty Jones, 37 and 35, were all over him. Dave Ridgway comes out onto the field. So he'll try a 47-yard field goal.
Oh, this is a big kick for Ridgway with the Bombers ahead by 11. This could cut the margin to 8, which would be just a touchdown and a 2-point convert away. Well, we've seen him so many times. He's got the leg and the range to get this one in there.
And it is good. A 47-yard field goal by Dave Ridgway. Don't go away. We've still got 3 minutes and 5 seconds left to play. Winnipeg's lead has been cut 18-10. We'll be back in just a moment.
Tiles of all types for you at Tile Town. I'm Tyler. And take a look at our stacks and stacks of selection. Piles of tiles for everywhere.
We import tiles direct from Brazil, Italy, and Spain. Volume buying that saves you money. If you need tile, we'll have it. Talk to us about installation or do it yourself.
You can find just what you need at my place, because Tile Town shows you how.
A few years ago, Elsie Reynolds made a decision to create a living legacy in memory of her brother. In 1981, Elsie established a scholarship to St. Michael's University School in Victoria. She joined British Columbia Television in the effort to ensure a challenging education for eager young students. Elsie Reynolds and British Columbia Television are proud to be part of the St. Michael's Scholarship Program, and the rewards are for everyone.
Following this afternoon's ball game, the Carling O'Keefe Sports Game Stars will receive a Royal Canadian Mint 1-ounce gold coin presented by Kodak, makers of the new 8mm Codavision video systems featuring the portable all-in-one camera and recorder from Kodak. Bombers starting from their 35-yard line. They give it inside for a gain of about 3. Pat Cantner, number 33, the ball carrier.
Well, you know, they'd be really content to keep the ball on the ground. 2 minutes and 48 seconds remaining. Eat up that clock. That's what Cal Murphy'd like them to do. I know that.
Well, Jack Goda hopes they do keep it on the ground. He'd like to get the ball back with a chance to tie this ball game. Pickup was 3, so make it 2nd and 7. Dribbles to Willard Reeves. Oh, the corner was shut down neatly by Fran McDermott.
Nice job by Fran. He just made sure there's no way Willard's going to get outside me, and if he's going to turn back upfield, I'm going to get a lot of help from my friends, and they did a super job. Forced the Winnipeg Blue Bombers into a punting situation.
Tell you how good a game they played defensively. That was the 18th carry of the ball game and just 60 yards total for Willard Reeves. Rick Goltz is the injured Saskatchewan Roughrider. As Leaf has pointed out, he's played very well this afternoon, as they all have. So now Bruce Miller, number 4, and Stu Fraser, 11, are back. And I'll tell you, they've given themselves lots of room between themselves and Bob Cameron. Oh, he's just putting on a clinic here.
That's
Fraser
really
is back to his 11-yard line. And he slips down as he crosses the 15. Scott Flagel was there to make the stop. A 61-yard boot. Bobby, figure out what his average is.
You know, what's so remarkable to me, Pat, is that the cover team is down there so quickly. 61 yards, 98 yards, and they're just doing a heck of a job getting down there.
Well, there's been tremendous hang time on the punts as well. He's averaged 61 yards this afternoon.
Not a bad day's work. Well, here's the poll. Should the CFL increase the number of team timeouts allowed in the last 3 minutes of each half? You have the numbers. There is a 50-cent charge for your call.
All right, we've got 1 minute, 56 seconds left to play in the ball game. Saskatchewan starts from their own 16. Good protection for Jordan initially. And then he steps up and throws complete to Ray Algard up at the 35-yard line. Ty Jones, 35, was there to bring him down.
Oh, did he do a great job to get away from that rush initially and then find an open receiver. But Homer Jordan ducked underneath and came up with the big play, and that's what you've got to have when it gets crucial.
1 minute 47 left. There'll be no huddle for Saskatchewan. Their hurry-up offense is in there. And Jordan's pass is caught again by Algart. And Wiley Turner wraps him up as he crosses the 40 to about the 41-yard line for a pickup of 6.
What a smart play to get out of bounds. I mean, he struggled and fought to make sure he can get out there and stop the clock. 1 minute 39 remaining, and Homer Jordan sure has his work cut out for him.
Denny Ferdinand goes into the ball game. Coming out is Ken Moore. There's the time. 1 minute 39 left to play. They trail by 8 points. And Ferdinand is the ball carrier. Ferdinand crosses the 50 to the 51 before Darrell Patterson, number 76, slips across to make the stop.
Yeah, nice job running the football, but the guy's got to get back, hustle back into that huddle, and get things ready.
Denny Ferdinand comes off after picking up the first down for Saskatchewan. They have possession at their 51-yard line with 1:35 left to play. Jordan's pass intended for Krista France was just a little high. He'd been harassed by John Sturdivant, and Homer Jordan did a good job to duck underneath him. And when he came up, he threw, but unfortunately just a little too high.
Yeah, that's the second time in this drive that he's been able to get away from the pass rush. Krista France did a good job to reverse his pattern and try and get into an open area, but of course the ball just overthrown.
It stops the clock at 1 minute 27. Jordan's pass is caught at the 52-yard line by number 85, Stephen Jones. With Roy Bennett, 23, the cornerback, making sure that he wasn't going to advance the ball. He picks up about 7 yards, so it brings up 3rd and 3.
You know, there's 1 minute and 22 remaining, and the time is not critical at all. They've just got to keep pushing themselves down the field and completing some balls, but really 1 minute and 22 is plenty of time for them to travel the remaining 53 yards here.
Well, the key thing is they've got to pick up the first down here.
John Bach, who you're looking at there, Pat, is playing his 200th consecutive game. That's quite a feat, isn't it?
It surely is. The give is to Denny Ferdinand, but he ran into Darrell Patterson, and that is the end of the ball game because there is no way that Ferdinand was going to be able to knock him back.
Well, I tell you, I've never seen people move for the exits faster than they just did on that 3rd down play. Darrell Patterson, there you see him, number 76, just made a super defensive play, as the defense has done all day for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
So Saskatchewan is forced to turn the ball over with 1 minute and 19 seconds showing on the clock. They missed the all-time attendance record by 886 today. And the fans, I don't know how happy they're going to be. They're going to be pleased with the way the club hung in there, but they're not going to be delighted at the offensive performance that the Roughriders put on this afternoon. I'll tell you, there was some heavy hitting on both sides today.
Sure were.
Goes to show you, though, as we take a look at Darrell Patterson, who's shaken up. Denny Ferdinand's a pretty solid guy, too, isn't he?
Well, he's about 210 himself, and he can lay a little punishment on some linebackers when they come up to hit him.
David Lees, who is helping Bobby Layden on the statistical story today, points out that Bob Cameron's unofficial punting average today is 60.7. The CFL single game record is currently held by Ken Clark, 60.2. So if the statistics as we have them are indeed correct, 60.7 would be a new single game average. Sturdivant also shaken up on the play. It's funny, interesting to note that the 3 highest single game averages have all taken place here in Regina. Kenny Clark, 60.2. Butch Avinger, 58.8. That was back in 1952. And Jack Delbo of Winnipeg in 1963 averaged 58.6 yards. But there's Bob Cameron. Good job today, little guy.
I talked to you earlier about John Bonk and this being his 200th consecutive game, which is just an amazing milestone. You know, John is 35 years of age. He is 4 months younger than Al Wilson, the great center with the BC Lions. But the oldest guy in the league, who is it, fellas?
I think it's Ken Clark.
You're right, Ken Clark at 37, the fine punter for the Ottawa Roughriders.
The guy who's going to be the oldest head coach in the league before the season is over is Joe Moss.
No, you know, if they had the stress meter attached to him during a game, the thing would blow up.
Well, I'll tell you, I think that Ottawa club's coming along, and Joe Moss is going to be enjoying football a lot more in the second half than he did in the first half as he started to rebuild it, because he's got a decent defense. He gets a little offense going. Look out, he could be trouble.
Well, you know, it's the marketing they've done with that club, too. Gordy Bunky, Bill Holdsworth, Donnie Holtby, those guys really have done a good job making football public in that city, so everybody is aware that the Rough Riders are alive and well and playing some pretty decent football.
It'd be nice if they could do something about it in Toronto. Willard Reeves is very close to midfield before Darrell Toussaint is there to bring him down. Now, there's been some excellent marketing in many places in the CFL. Toronto and Hamilton don't rate near the top in that category, though.
Well, Hamilton had poster day, though.
But when you see the enthusiasm that is generated here in Western Canada for the CFL, you wonder to yourself why it doesn't happen back in the East. Willard Reeves, the ball carrier, gets very close to the 50-yard line. Looks like he's going to be about a yard short of the first down. Eddie Lowe, number 42, was there to make the stop. Now it's 3rd down. If I'm Winnipeg, I'm punting. It's 3rd and a yard to go.
Oh, there's no question about that. Jocko wants a timeout to try and sort things out.
Well, they've got 55 seconds left.
See, on his left, Mike Samples, the defensive line coach here in Saskatchewan, had many great years as a player in Hamilton and here in Saskatchewan.
Well, this has been a very tough physical game for both these clubs. The hitting has been outstanding. What a beautiful day for a football game, though.
Yeah, the weather really has been super.
There's 22 degrees here this afternoon.
I just get a real kick out of the enthusiasm.
Yep.
I really find it so refreshing.
All you need down here, fellas, is a pair of sunglasses, a cold drink, some suntan lotion, and a pair of shorts.
And you probably had all of them, Bill.
The stands have it. Well, I must admit, for a change, I have the best spot on the field.
Now, has Gaynor, the gopher, been over to harass you?
Gaynor came over and said, look, as long as Pedersen works with you, I don't want to talk to you. No, I tell you, Gaynor the gopher, as we said before, is one of the good mascots. He just does a great job in whipping up enthusiasm among this crowd.
Let's watch Bob Cameron's punt now. Let's see what he does with it. Well, that's his worst punt of the ball game, but it does the job from a Winnipeg point of view. They throw the flag, no yards is going to be called. But again, you've got to feel sorry for the defenders who are trying to get out of the way and just had no opportunity to do so. So with 43 seconds left, Saskatchewan, believe it or not, still has a life.
Well, I don't know why they wanted to elect to try and let that ball roll in the end zone anyway. I mean, they should have tried to catch it. They don't want to go 9 points down. I think they kind of made a mistake there.
I agree with you.
Anyway, hit number 24, Ken Haley, so they get the no yards penalty. It's out to the 26-yard line.
Winnipeg 24. First down.
So they'll start from just outside the 25-yard line with 43 seconds left to play in the ball game. Winnipeg 18, Saskatchewan 10. They just dump it over the middle to Craig Ellis. And Ellis is out over the 30 to about the 34, upended there by Frank Robinson.
Usually expect to see Craig Ellis up around the 9, 10, 11 catch range each game. He really hasn't been the factor that we've seen when they've had good offensive days.
Jordan dumps it over the middle once again to Craig Ellis. And that's his 5th catch of the ball game for a total of 40 yards. And it does move the yardsticks. That's the important thing with 30 seconds left. But now they've got to pick up a longer play now. Time really becoming a factor. He pumps once. Jordan does get the first down, but what he doesn't do is get out of bounds. Wiley Turner makes the tackle right at midfield with 19 seconds left. So they won't be able to huddle up. The moment that the sideline chain is set, they'll blow time back in. And they do right now. Jordan's pass is complete for another first down to the 37-yard line. Michael Elarms made the catch. David Shaw the hit with 8 seconds left.
Well, they got time for probably 2 plays, and a fair bit of distance to go. They're 37, 38 yards away, and
they've got to go to the end zone right now is what they've got to do.
Well, if they got 2 plays, one more for in the 20-yard range and then go for a shot.
The catch is made by Stevens, but it's too late. Scott Flagel makes the hit, but time has expired down at the 10-yard line. Stephen Jones makes the catch, but there is no time left on the clock.
Well, there you see the final score, 18-10 for the Bombers. Jack Goda a little disappointed, no question about that. He thought his club had a real legitimate shot to knock off Winnipeg today, but unfortunately just couldn't come up with enough offense to do it.
Well, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers really should have had a much better control of this game than they did, because they constantly had good field position, and with the exception of Jeff Boyd's 115-yard touchdown scamper, 105 yards, excuse me, I mean, they really didn't put the ball in the end zone. Well, there's the result. Should the CFL increase the number of team timeouts allowed in the last 3 minutes of each half? No, says 51% of the fans. And Leaf, I know you agree with that.
Yeah,
Let's go down to Bill Stevenson.
Cal Murphy, Victoria's coach. He gets tougher and tougher.
Well, Saskatchewan's a pretty darn good football team, and they got some pretty good people both offensively and defensively. I think the big difference, if there was a difference, was the Bob Cameron's punting.
The thing I'd like to ask you, though, is the fact that every time I talk to a head coach, the winning one after the game, it seems to be, what happened to your offense and how come the defenses are so good? The defenses seem to be taking over in the league this year.
Well, I think the defenses have been pretty darn good overall. But we dropped a lot of passes out there today, which don't help your drives any.
But you have not been satisfied with your offense, have you, Cal?
Oh, I think we've played some pretty good football offensively. The trouble is we haven't been probably as consistent as we'd like to be.
Do you think that the offensive teams have to start changing, going more to the run maybe, that going with the pass almost strictly, that the defenses are learning how to handle them?
We were trying the run today.
I shouldn't be asking you that with the run you've got with Reeves, of course.
I don't know how many yards he got, but he got, it was pretty tough running in there at any time. And I think that Saskatchewan normally is a pretty good running team, but both teams did a pretty good job shutting the run down today.
Is this club of yours doing as well as you thought they would? Because fans normally feel the Grey Cup champ, they feel they should be doing better.
Well, it's like I told you yesterday, Bill, we've had 5 new people in our starting offense and defensive teams, and I think that each week we're getting better. I think we're getting to be a better football team, and that's the only thing we can aim at, is getting better each week. And the only thing is, I think there's a lot more good football teams in the league this year than there were last year. Saskatchewan is sure one heck of a good football team.
What you're saying is there's parity in the league now, and that makes just for great football.
Well, I'll tell you what, you guys couldn't have asked for a better, more exciting finish. The ratings should go up.
You're right, Cal Murphy. Congratulations. Thank you. The head coach of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and a score of 18-10 over the Saskatchewan Roughriders for this victory, and the CFL on CTV will continue in a moment.
The 1985 Chevy Cavalier is the car for the two of you. The one you demands his money's worth in comfort, features, and quality. The other you enjoys the performance of an electronic fuel-injected 4 or available multi-port injected V6 and GM's 5-year Future Guard warranty. Happily, the new Chevy Cavalier brings both of you together. No wonder it's GM's best-selling car.
Chevy, way to go. Way to go, Chevy. Way to go, Chevy.
When you buy a new car, you want to keep it looking new. And that's easy with Armor All Protectant, a scientific formula that took a polymer chemist 10 years to develop. It helps keep rubber, vinyl, leather, and plastic looking new. So even though you can't keep your car from getting old, you can keep it from looking old. Armor All. It's science, but it works like magic.
CTV's Lloyd Robertson.
Certainly the most emotional event I've ever been involved in was the Terry Fox Marathon of Hope Telethon. And that's because of the way the country responded to that young man. He obviously touched a sensitive chord in the nation. And in a way, and some people have said this, and I think it's probably true, he proved to us that Canadians are more than just a people inhabiting a vast land. He proved that we have a soul.
And now, the Carling O'Keefe Sports offensive and defensive game stars as selected by our broadcast crew. From Winnipeg, wide receiver James Hood is the offensive star, and from the Blue Bombers, linebacker Frank Robinson is the defensive star. Each of today's outstanding players will receive a Royal Canadian Mint 1-ounce gold coin presented by Kodak, makers of the new 8mm Codavision video systems, featuring the portable all-in-one camera and recorder from Kodak. This is the CFL on CTV.
Having some fun when you're out in the sun. It's gonna be a great day. Here's something new, a deal waiting for you. Summer tumblers are coming your way.
Right now, buy a Big Mac and a medium or large serving of Coke or Diet Coke and get a summer tumbler free. Collect all core designs. There's a new one each week. Sturdy, go-anywhere tumblers, free from McDonald's.
It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. Here it is, coming at you. O'Keefe's Extra Old Stop like you've never seen it before. There's a new tall bottle, a new twist cap, and that real beer taste. So reach for the top of an Extra Old Stock.
What a great way to break into a ball game. Murphy, the regular wide receiver, is injured, out of the lineup. James Hood moves in. And James Hood, who tried and couldn't crack the lineup last year, cracks it this year. And what a game you had today, James. You had to be very, very happy with it.
Yes, I was, Bill. You know, Tommy Clemens and Huffnagel, they were able to get the ball out there to me on like 6-yard hitches. And fortunately, I was able to turn around. I had a couple of seconds to react, and I was able to put on a couple of moves to make me, you know, open up. And I really thought that I did pretty good. I had a pretty consistent day as far as catching goes.
You sure did. Some people may not know all the speed you got. You were a track man in Arizona, weren't you?
Well, I ran a little bit of intramural track, but I didn't really get into it real deeply because the coaches over at Arizona wanted me to go strictly football. But I did have some speed, and I could have went track had I preferred to do that, but I went with football all the way.
And that's why everybody's going to be looking out for you.
Thank you, Bill.
James Hood, congratulations, Offensive Player of the Game.
Thank you.
Right, James. The CFL on CTV will continue in a moment.
Dr. Huxtable
is happily married.
You know, Rudy never attacks when you're home.
And a very proud father.
All right, last one finished has to eat the cow's tongue.
However, he often finds it easier to handle the kids he's bringing into the world than the ones he's raising. It's entertainment at its best. The Cosby Show. New this fall on CTV.
No messing the common areas.
This is a common area.
Another common area bites the dust.
Modern-day soldiers of fortune. The A-Team is ready for an exciting season of adventure. They travel to the far corners of the globe to tackle the forces of evil. It's entertaining adventure here on CTV.
Frank Robinson, what a game he had. We were going to talk to you at the half. You were playing so well, and you kept right on playing as we were talking to you at the end of the game as the defensive player. You were in their backfield all day, and you must have felt that you had a good performance too, Frank.
I think I played pretty decent today. I moved to a different position this week. I played outside rather than inside, but I think I'm helping Tyrone Jones out a little bit. It takes some of the pressure off of him, and if the teams can't double up on Tyrone, they have to watch both of us. That makes his pass rush a lot easier also.
What problems does it give you playing outside?
Oh, no problems. I think my athletic abilities is more suited for outside because I can run pretty good, and I feel more freer outside. And outside, you don't get beat up as much as you do inside.
You had a great 84. You're having a great 85. Keep it up, Frank.
Thanks, Bill. I just like to say hi to my wife, Teresa, back in Winnipeg. I love you.
All right. Thank you, Frank Robinson. Well, these Western standings certainly show what's happening. What a battle. BC 2 in front of Winnipeg now. And the real fight that's going on here for the third and final playoff spot, Saskatchewan and Edmonton. Edmonton is 2 points back of Saskatchewan. We'll have Edmonton playing in Calgary. That is 4 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow, and that is on the CTV network. And Montreal plays in Hamilton at night. And from everyone at CTV, a very pleasant good afternoon from Regina. This CFL telecast has been brought to you by Carling O'Keefe Sports, bringing the sports world home to you. This telecast is copyright and is strictly for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or rebroadcast in whole or in part without the express written consent of the CTV television network is strictly prohibited.